Good evening, everybody. This is Encounters, the early edition. Yes, indeed. We're doing an early show tonight, and it's almost 10 o'clock, so we'll be on from 10, 11. We'll be on to 12. We'll be on for 2 hours. So we're going to go for 2 hours, but go early, 10 to 12 midnight, and then we're going to end the show. So we're going to still do a 2-hour show, but I got everybody off guard because I came in on early tonight. So yeah, this is Encounters, the earliest show, early nighttime show. Welcome to the show. And for new people that have never seen me, welcome. Man, we had a wicked amount of rain. I'll tell you, when I was in Connecticut today, going to Trader Joe's, it was night. It wasn't raining out. It was cloudy. You get out, it was pouring like cats and dogs this afternoon. It was raining like crazy. You couldn't even see me in front of your face when you're, going on the road. But anyway, welcome to the show. And you're watching the early edition of Encounters. It's only early because I'm usually on at 11, but I'm starting early tonight. And then at 12 midnight, I will end our broadcast and I will go off planet and go to sleep. Have an early night. It'll be good. It's raining in New York City, I see. Hey, Jordan Bell, thank you for the gifts. I am going to set my goals for tonight. I'm going to pin my goals. And I want to thank all of you for watching this morning's show on Cosmic Eye Radio on WESUFM.org. Excuse me. Jackie, thank you for the gift. We appreciate that so much. Hey, Mundkick. Good to see you. Welcome. Cowboys, everybody. Paulie 5151. Good everybody here tonight. We're going to have a great show. And it'll be nice to actually do a little bit earlier show. And, I would do earlier shows, but I actually do the 11 o'clock show till usually about 1. But now I'm going to do a little bit earlier tonight, so I feel good about that. Thank you for the gift. We appreciate the gift. Thank you. Hey, my UFO friends. Hey, Monica. And if you're new to Encounters, this is a spiritual UFO program, so we don't talk about paranormal anything. You have to be over 18 if you're going to be a guest on the show. No cursing, no foul language, no either same thing, no smoking, no vaping, no drugs, no drinking, none of that stuff. Again, we get into all the good things here. We talk with people about their encounters. I'm a contactee for new people that are just getting in here. I've been a contactee since the 60s. I've seen hundreds of spaceships, or what people call UFOs, since the 1960s. I've done workshops, in-house workshops over the years called conclaves of the Ashtar Command, where we had 50 or 60 people from around the world get together with us. Yes, Alicia, I decided to go on early tonight because I could, and this way I can go to sleep early. And I'm going to go off at midnight. Marta, hello, good to see you. And I just posted a really cool video on my main page here on TikTok. Hopefully it will go viral because it's the real thing. It's amazing how this other thing, I talked about it this morning. Maybe you've seen this video going around the loop here from Lancaster, California. That people claimed was a UFO, but it wasn't a UFO. It was actually some kind of a drone technology that either our government was testing or something was going on, but it wasn't a UFO. It was this multicolored thing, and everyone's going nuts over it on TikTok except for the commander, because being that I do a talk show on the subject, I'm not going to go nuts over something because I'm going to investigate it, look at it, and see whether it's really what it is. So on my show, the answer is that it's not a UFO. It's not a spaceship. That light that people were going nuts over on TikTok thinking they were going to get, bazillion million people to say, yeah. No, they all jumped the bandwagon on it and all thought it was going to be this UFO thing, and it wasn't, But the latest video that I posted should go viral because it is real. It shows a woman in state of Washington, in a town off the coast in the state of Washington, and she and her friend, she's talking, a videotape one fleet of spaceships, and then all of a sudden popping in is another fleet of spaceships off the coast. I think it was Grayland, Washington. Grayland, Washington. So I posted it because it's real, and it's actually a real, genuine video that she took of a fleet of spaceships, 2 fleets. They were orange. She said orange in color. They look kind of gold to me, but she said they were orange. And you can see this other group of ships just popping in over the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Grayland, Washington. Now that is real footage. That's real deal. You know, this other thing that people are going crazy with, it's simply computer-generated used technology that is some sort of a drone. Hey, God Advance, this is good to see you. So that's where I am a healthy skeptic. I know how to separate real footage from stuff that isn't actually non-terrestrial. E-Man, gold and orange and red are the ones I used to usually see. Oh, okay. Interesting. Please share and like. We want to get to 100,000 likes. And if everybody taps the screen, that gives our number. If you look at the top right of my screen, you see it says 1.9, 2.0. If you tap, those numbers go up. If you don't tap, numbers don't go up. Linda Lou, good to see you. Greeting, Len. Good to have you with us. Every Kate, Phil, Phil's Mary, Michelle, welcome. So new people finding my show. I'm not usually on it until about 11 o'clock at night, but we're doing an early show tonight, so I've caught a lot of people off guard, and hopefully they will find that I am on early tonight. Okay? Yes, we are, John Tyler. Good evening. We are on early tonight. Kenneth, thank you for the follow. And for new people, this is not your normal TikTok. This is an actual show. I'm on radio. I'm also on radio on WESUFM.org, NPR Pacific Radio. I was on this morning at 11:30 every Sunday till 1. I've been on radio for 21 years. I'm also from Mars originally. I work with the Ashtar Command directly, and I'm a contactee. What else can I say? And also, I would use the term starseed because I came here from the stars. And I didn't just came from the stars. I came here from the Ashtar Command, and I came to Earth to do my mission work. Hey, Bernie, good to see you. Good evening, early evening for people. Thank you. I think it's Ember Murgal. Thank you for following us. I hope I didn't botch up your name. Mike Masters, good to see you, brother. And everybody coming. Hey, Johnny, good to see you, brother. Good evening, Ollie Stone. All the good people, Brittany Duncan, E.K. Hagel, welcome E.K. Kate, Richard Stantz, hey Richard. I am Jason, hey Jason. Kelly, welcome Kelly, user 794. Thomas, thank you for the heart. We appreciate the gift on this show here. And we're glad people are finding our UFO talk show here, because it is a talk show. Jude, welcome. Daniel, welcome. And when you see the video that I posted of Grayland, California, it was from the end of July. Just make sure it goes everywhere you can think of. It's just a great piece of footage, and share it with everybody. I mean, share it all over the place. Any healing, Michelle, any healing TR? What does TR mean? I know what the word healing means, but I don't know what TR means. The abbreviation for TR? Kate Moore, welcome to the show. Pepper21. Slime, welcome Slime. Westerly 99, welcome. Brittany, welcome. Carrie, welcome to our Encounter show. Butter Lover. And again, this is Encounters. This is a spiritual UFO talk show, just so no one gets confused here. Opal, welcome to the show. User 564. Hey, Broomhilda's Enchantment. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome again to the show. Hey, Chesno, good to see you. Good to see you, brother. We are feeling great, feeling amped up here. Yes, I decided to come on early because no one's in the living room, and I decided to come on early tonight. And then I'm going to go for 2 hours and go off at midnight. 2 dogs, 1 bowl. Good evening. Jerkcat, good evening. You know, and of course I have a lot more energy earlier in the evening anyway, so there you go. Although I do have a lot of energy late at night, but it's good to be here. I would do early shows if I could, but I just go with who's ever here in the house. I have an update for you. Oh, okay, Broomhilda, we're gonna bring you on. We'll definitely bring you on for an update. Let me go to my guest box. Let me just make sure my screen stays bright. I don't want it to go dark on me here. Please stay bright, screen. Please.
Hi.
Good evening. My screen is doing good tonight. How are you?
Good. How are you?
We're doing fantastic. We're on early tonight, so that's nice.
Right? Yeah, because I'm going to have to get back. I've been trying to get back in routine for work, so that's why I haven't been active lately.
No, I understand that. And I know you have an update for us since the last time we spoke. And what's happening now?
Yes, I do. So I haven't had any negative experiences. And actually last night, and I can still see it, so I'm pretty sure maybe I had an encounter, but it might also have been an astral projection. So what I remember was I met a group of ETs, and I wasn't fearful of them. I was actually really drawn to them and wanting to speak with them and wanting to help them. And they almost, I'm going to say almost like maybe like a shapeshifter, just because they try to like kind of blend in. So at one point, like they almost looked like an animal. Yeah, but then like they could look human. And like I said, they were really friendly, and I wanted to be like with them, and I felt more comfortable with them than what I have with the other ETs I've encountered in the past. These animals, they were, because I still don't, I haven't studied the different forms of ETs. But yes, Alice, almost like a cat-like. It was like animal, like the fur. And they had a big ship, and this ship was all, I don't know, it was huge. And it was almost flat. It wasn't a circular, it wasn't a disc or anything. It was like flat, and it had all these different colors on it, different colored lights, and almost looked like a building. And at one point, it looked like maybe like they were shooting off fireworks, or they had some type of effect that looked like fireworks.
My friend Alicia says like they look like cat-like in their face a little bit, but beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, they're Lyrians. They're from the Lyrian. The Lyrians are very beautiful. They're with the Ashtar Command. They're Lyrians. They also have a human body. Their face will look a little bit like cat-like. They're men and women, but they have that beautiful cat-like face. But they are telepathic, and they can speak, but they're tall. They're taller than you.
Yeah, it was like almost like, it was almost like they needed my help for something. But because it was weird, because like I seen them like on like a rooftop, and I was talking to them, and then they like kind of shifted their face to look more human. But like I said, I wasn't scared of them. I was more comfortable. And then like they kept coming to me wanting me to help them with something. And I don't know what they wanted my help with, but like I said, and they had this really big, tall ship. It was kind of like almost flat, and had all these different colored lights on it, and the lights would change. I don't know. It
could have been when you say all these lights on it, to look like when you say tall ship, sort of like a city ship with like different levels. I keep getting city ship. So what you were saying was that I'm getting this telepathically. You were seeing a Lyrian city ship. It's very big. There are ships that are city ships. They're not very common. You won't see those ships, let's say, come into the Earth's atmosphere. They're out in
Yeah, they were
space.
kind of like in like the sky still, and the
Yeah.
sky almost kind of had like a northern lights effect.
Yes.
And like I said, it looked like almost like fireworks shooting off
Huh.
or coming
Interesting.
across like the lights, you know?
Yeah. It's a basically, it can move. It's actually a city ship. What you're seeing is I'm projecting the image into my consciousness. You actually
Hmm.
got to see, I think we have a little bit of lightning or something on. You have, it's a city ship. So the ship has multiple colored lights and and it's almost like a building, but not your traditional building like on Earth.
Yeah.
It's a galactic ship and it has many levels to it. It's very interesting. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I can see it perfect in my head,
Yes. Hmm.
like how it's detailed and how like I seen it.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting the Ashtar Command is giving me information for you. It is actually a multi-level city ship. It's very, it's all the way out beyond the Earth atmosphere, actually, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that's
It's
just
very
amazing because I
interesting.
went from like all these negative
Yes.
encounters and then until you healed me and like I did that little
Yes.
positive formation and you
Yes.
took like the implants out and I've never had
Yes.
any experience whatsoever with any other um, ETs. So for me to actually like can see it and memorize it and actually being comfortable and
Yes.
helping them, it's what's completely
Yes.
different.
Yes. So
So
you see, you're another testament of the work that I do when I did this healing with you myself,
mhm.
that I have the power now by the command. I have my own power that they activated me with, that I can get rid of negative ETs in 2 seconds. I
Yeah,
can just do it my own. I can do it physically here on the remotely from the show, and the ETs, the negative ETs are afraid of me. They're totally afraid of me because I do have the power to stop them, and I do not stand for any negative ETs interfering with anybody on this planet. And I will go after them by sending a beam of energy that will actually send them away from the person. I'll take out the implants and they will be demolished. And that's exactly what we did with you. We got the implants out. You're now totally, how do you feel? You feel great, don't you?
yeah, I feel better. Like I said, I wasn't scared of them, and I'm not sure if they are my star seed. I haven't really
Mm-hmm.
meditated too much towards trying to figure out the star seed part,
Mm-hmm.
but
Well, you
yeah,
will. I mean,
yeah,
you have plenty of time. It's not like you have to know by tomorrow at noon. Take your time.
right.
I can see how much radiant light is in you. You look so magnificently much better than when you were
Thank
telling me
you.
the story and I had to go and do some kicking some butt with these ETs. And, I will always do that. And I always care about the people I help. And, like I said, I came to this earth to bless the matrix, but I also came here to make sure when they activated me just a few weeks ago to be able to use the palm of my hand to do this, we are able to disintegrate the implants that go into people's bodies from the negative ETs. We'll disintegrate them, send them back to the creator, and they're gone. That's it. No
Right.
rituals. We just get rid of it.
Yeah, and
And
like
that's
even
exactly what we did.
after and then after this experience, I even checked myself just to make sure. But like I said, I didn't feel anything negative. I wasn't fearful, and I didn't see any marks on my body what I would usually see,
Hmm.
with my other encounters.
Yeah, see, you're never, ever since I did that and we did the work and put that protective energy around you, you will never have negative ETs come into your atmosphere. When I say atmosphere, they will never come around your house. They'll never come near wherever you go. They'll never see you again. They can't even get near you anymore. There's an energy field protection of Christed energy around your etheric body. You're very well protected now, so you'll never have any problems.
Okay, and I did look into that music that
Yes.
night after we got done talking. I did find some on YouTube, and I did listen to that as well.
Oh, good.
Um, and then I did take in your suggestion about getting rid of the lower vibrating crystals.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And that also, by doing that and transferring those lower vibrational crystals and getting them out of there, now you can get things like amethyst cathedrals, selenite, and Lemurian starseed crystals. Those three there, and the selenite, and also apatholite. Apatholite is a very high frequency, high vibrational crystal that will attune very high energy frequencies. If you get about 4 or 5 of those, they're from India. They find them in India, apatholite. Put them in different places in your meditation room or whatever, and they will amp up the energies even further. And selenite, you can put selenite in your window, and it will amplify the energies all around your house.
Okay, I do have some of that, and I do have amethyst, so I will have to look into that last one that you were suggesting.
All right. Well, you know what? I appreciate your updates, and
You're welcome.
I'm glad everything is doing well. Like I said, I always like to hear after I do something whether it worked. And for new people that think this is not happening and you're not here for the right purposes, the commander will kick you out. If you think any of this is funny, you're going to be out of here in 2 seconds. I'm looking at one name here that might be going out of here in 2 seconds and think it's funny. Matter of fact,
I see that
we're going to take that. We're going to take that person out, and they're going to be all alone. And let's see here. And they are now going bye-bye. You see, that's the good thing about me. I host the show.
Right, yeah.
See, that's what they forget. Some of these TikTokers, they don't realize I host the show. I can take somebody out in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it. But anyway, thank you so much for sharing your update.
You're welcome. And just for anybody that's new out here, I honestly was never a believer of ETs, aliens. And when I first had my first experience, everybody was saying it was just nonsense. But no, it's true. There's definitely other people out there.
See, now she knows. And now she knows that the Lurians, you're very connected to the Lurians, which is a beautiful thing. And they are part of the Ashtar Command. They actually are part of our galactic grouping of space people. And they're all part of the beautiful synergy of energy of that rainbow of many different space beings of light. So yes, you're in contact with some beautiful beings.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you and everybody that was here for my last story.
All right. Well, we're going to let you down very gently. And again, if anybody thank you for coming back up with the update, we appreciate the updates always. And if you're new to the show, this is Encounters. I am a contactee. I am also a starseed. I come from Mars, a planet of 10 to 15 million inhabitants. I also am with the Ashtar Command. So I work on an Ashtar Command Christ conscious level constantly. And I'm a talk show host for over 21 years on non-commercial supported NPR radio and WESU-FM. And I'm also involved very much so in busting the matrix. And that means I will do whatever I need to do to bust the matrix. And if you want to be a guest, you have to be over 18. No smoking, no vaping, no drinking, no drunks, no drugs, no paranormal discussion. I think I covered everything. And of course, we are focused on the cosmic and galactic and those areas of spiritual cosmic areas with the UFO subject matter. Let's see here. Emmanuel Benjamin, can you tell us a little bit about you? Okay, I'm over 18. So I know you're over 18. Can you tell me why you want to come on live? Emmanuel Benjamin, how old are you? I am 55. Okay. And what would you like to speak about, Emmanuel Benjamin? Hey, John, good to see you. And usually in the comment sections, it gives me an idea of what the person wants to talk about, and that's important. So, Emmanuel Benjamin, what is the topic you wish to bring to our audience? Hey, Latia. Hey, Cheryl. And welcome to the show, everybody. So I always ask, to free people that want to be a guest, give me a sentence in the comments section. What is the topic? What is his topic? I want to know what they want to speak about. I want to know a little bit more about the person before I bring them up. That's really important for me. Hey, I do that same thing on my radio show. Hey, UFO Late Group, good to see you. Let me see here. UFO Late Group. Hey, UFO Lake Group. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And I know by the topic, I know you're into the subject. Uh, UFO sightings in California. We'll talk about that as well tonight. I talked about it this morning on my morning show on the radio. I wish to have an encounter. Judy Ellis. UFO late. Can you give us the sentences to what we're going to talk about? So I have some idea. Heather, thank you for the follow. I'm a UFO researcher with some OEBs. Okay. I will bring you up. I appreciate that. And let's see here. Oh, okay, UFO Lake Group. Good to have you with us. And where are you located?
Oh, I'm in Western Pennsylvania.
Oh, great, great. I like your little symbolism there. That's pretty cool. So tell us about yourself and what would you like to bring to Encounters tonight?
Well, first of all, awesome. Thank you for having me up here. There are not a lot of UFO or like kind of ET contact related lives, so thank you for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, I'm sorry, what was the question again? What was I supposed to do?
Oh, yeah. Well, basically, I'm trying to get a background how you got into the subject.
Oh, yeah.
And what's your experiences in terms of what you've been going through in terms of your research? You're in Pennsylvania, which has had a long history of spaceship sightings over the decades of different types. So tell us a little bit about yourself and
Sure.
What's going on.
Sure. So, I'm in my 30s, right? I'm late 30s, and I'm married. No kids, and I like never was into UFOs. And then in 2017, I saw this guy David Fravor. I don't know if you know who he is. He's this like fighter
No.
pilot. He was a fighter pilot flying off the Nimitz, and there was this like Tic Tac UFO he saw. Like he had a dogfight with it, and like a bunch of pilots were with him, and it was crazy. And I was like, no way, this is true, right? So then I looked into it, and like I started talking to some Navy relatives of mine. I'm like, oh wow, so this UFO thing might be real. And that sent me on a whole, like, poof. I mean, I had this, like, spiritual awakening where I was like, I couldn't believe. I felt like my whole world, the rug had been ripped out from underneath me. And so, yeah, now I've come to the point where I think I think there is something very strange going on here. I do feel like there is, I'm into, like, the whole channel, like, people getting, messages from, the others. I think we're on the precipice of something happening here, and I just don't know what it is. I know we're talking about going up into the 4D and the 5D and all this stuff, and I'm like, what is going on?
So I can tell you a lot of what's going on. I am very much in tune with what's happening. I'm a contactee in the 1960s. I had a spaceship in a cul-de-sac when I was a kid, just before my teenage years, appear in a cul-de-sac where I lived. And I was downstairs with my brother, my mother, and my father. It was after dinner. Everyone's just talking away and whatever. I think my grandmother might have been still living with us. And so I ended up going upstairs and leaving the whole kitchen thing. And for no reason, went upstairs because I had to go upstairs for some reason. Went past my room to my brother's room, opened the wooden blinds, and there was a spaceship hovering in a cul-de-sac at night. I don't remember whether it was summer or whether it was fall. I think it was warm weather out. But it had a white radiant light around the ship. And there were men and women that were wearing light blue outfits that were human. And there were some, I consider teenagers, also wearing these spacesuits. And they had an energy field at the center of the ship that was going crazy. It was blinking like nuts, like a computer almost. And it was behind the people. And
you ever drawn this?
I never drew it. I have it in my head. I remember everything since I was a kid. I remember every detail of the spaceship. And it was hovering, and then I got a message telepathically that I wasn't from Earth, that I was from off planet. And when I heard that in my head, I looked at them and I was excited to know that truth. I think getting like heat lightning or something outside. And I went back down to the kitchen and tried to get everyone to come upstairs, but nobody did. So I was frustrated, because I wanted to show everybody that I really am having an experience. You've got to see this. And nobody came upstairs. So I got over the frustration, got back up, went to my brother's room, opened the shades. The spaceship was still there hovering, almost right at ground level. And I looked at it again, and they said, you'll never forget us or what we look like. You'll never forget the picture of the experience. And they were right. I never, ever forgot that experience. I always, every detail of the ship, I remember the cul-de-sac. I remember the space people looking at me. And they were tall people, probably 7, 8 feet tall. I never, ever forgot that. That was my first experience on a very conscious level. But after that, I never had an experience like that. I had many, many sightings through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s of what I call spaceships. Some people call them UFOs, but I knew they were spaceships. They were not of our particular realm. So I have a lot of background, and I don't listen to channels because channels over the years have, they make everything very fluffy, but I have real information. Forget the channels. So in about a year and a half, we're going to have contact. In a year and a half, we're going to have contact on our planet with what is called the Ashtar Command. The Ashtar Command oversees all the galactic forces of light. The Ashtar Command is there. Some of the ships are here now. They're cloaked, but there's going to be massive amounts of ships that are coming to Earth from way, way beyond our particular galaxy and solar system, and they're coming every day. Many more ships. So when the feelings you have are very, very right on the money. The strange feelings you're having about things happening, that's because there's a major, major shift happening right now, and it's going to affect billions of human beings. Billions of people on this planet have no idea what's going to be happening yet. But this is going to be the show where you're going to find out what's happening right here. Forget YouTube and any other thing out there or whatever. It's going to happen on this show. You're going to hear about it right here. Then someone's saying, why are they coming? Sha-na-na. Because it's time. People say, when is the space people coming? I've heard this for years. When are the good people coming, the space people coming? There are good people out there that are men and women that have families on other planets that are way advanced from us. They are spiritually way more advanced than we are. And they've been here before. They're coming back because it's time. They're coming back because we're supposed to be connected. We are connected. We have forgotten our connection to our space brothers and sisters. As human beings, we got so wrapped up in living in this world, we forgot about all the other worlds out there. We got so wrapped up in paying our taxes and having governments and religions on Earth. We forgot about the whole existence of who we truly are. And who we truly are is not just 3D human beings having a human existence. We all come from the stars. We just have to start remembering it. So why are they coming here? Because they are our cosmic family. That's why. That's exactly why they're coming here. That's the most important reason why they're coming here. And I'm glad you asked that question. And it's a beautiful question. And they are coming here because they are here to help us. They're not going to do it for us, but they're here to help us.
Are there like these lower density entities, right? I hear stories from people who talk about, not nice things happening. Does the Ashtar Command ever make you aware of these lower density entities and who they are, where they come from, etc.?
Oh, yes. We've been going after them for the last few months. We have actually, the Ashtar Command has been going after they've been capturing all the lower vibrational ETs, be it Zeta or Reptilian or etc. The Ashtar Command has been working very hard to find these ETs off and take them off planet, and they've been doing that. So all the negative ETs are being found wherever they're hiding on Earth. They're being found in caves, wherever they are. They're being definitely found, and they're being quarantined and taken off planet as we speak.
Yeah, I get a little worried about the the underground bases I hear about, and like the Dulce bases, and just these negative entities,
Oh, they're being taken off planet. The Dulce, wherever it is, the negative ETs are going to be found. They are very aware. The Ashtar Command is doing it as they can. When I say that, I mean all the positive forces of light are working together to round up all the negative ETs that have been hiding out on Earth, and they are going to be taken off the planet. They're not going to be allowed to be here at all. So you really have nothing to worry about. What you really need to focus in is on cosmic consciousness right now. Focus on contact, focus on centering yourself on that energy field, which is more important than worrying about the negative ETs. The commanders got that under control, and they are getting them.
Let's what and so as far as like raising your vibrational state and all that stuff, is there? I mean, do you do anything in particular to kind of help like get in contact better? Is there some sort of like, I don't know, contact method you use?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of things. One of the things we have an Ashtar Command contact group here in Connecticut, and I've been doing this for 30 years. One of my friends here, Chezo's in our group, and he's part of our group. We do a meditation. We use the C5 app from Dr. Stephen Greer, which is like $10 US. So if you download the app, it has protocol of contact. Use that app where you are in Pennsylvania. It'll help facilitate peaceful contact, visual contact with positive beings of light. We also use meditation when you're on your own, when you're home or wherever. I use what they call ambient Christ conscious music. It's meditation music. It's at a Christed frequency. And if you use that, do like a 20, 30-minute meditation, it will help facilitate centering yourself and turning your mind off. It'll center your energy and vibration of your body to a much higher frequency. So I do that on a regular basis. And you want to always keep your vibration going up, and you can do that with certain types of sound. It'll affect the vibrational patterns of your consciousness and of your body.
Sorry, I'm eating
That's
a
okay.
burger. Nah.
That's okay. But that information is that will help you to start the C5 app, and also I'm just operating in a frequency of what I call cosmic Christed consciousness always. And Alicia, my friend Alicia, says shielding in Christ consciousness daily is helpful. And when she says that, what she means is when you listen to Christ conscious music, ambient music, always say, I'm a Christed being of light. I am protected in that light always. And you can create an invisible shield around your body. And that goes for anyone watching this show. These are very tangible things you can do before contact happens. And also to protect yourself from having any other experiences other than positive contact. UFO late, it's your turn. You can keep your mic on if you want to.
Sometimes I get a little feedback. Sorry.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot of obviously meditation. I've noticed recently I'm an empath. So, and this is kind of this realization I made that like as a kid, I was always kind of a little psychic. I can read people's auras. I've realized like their energies, and this I've noticed this ability more and more recently, and I'm like tying it in. I'm like, what is going on with this planet? I feel like we're going through these changes here. Sometimes I look up at the sun, and even the sun looks like a different color to me than what I originally remember it looking like. And I think I think this is kind of tied into this raising of vibrational energy. I think the sun is kind of, and is that something the Ashtar Command would kind of agree with? You think is that the sun is tied into this raise that we're about to go through?
Oh yeah, the sun has a lot to do with it. So whenever you have these big solar storms, if you are meditating when there's a big solar storm hitting the Earth, you can use that energy to increase the vibrational pattern, and the cellular structure within your body will vibrate higher. It will also activate your DNA codes inside your physical body. So when you see a big solar storm hit the Northeast or a good portion of the planet, that is the time to sit and meditate and take in that energy, and it will uplift the frequency of your physical body and of your consciousness.
I see someone down there, Cynthia, saying the sun does look a different color. I know. I've spoken to people about this. It just looks a little different to me, and I think this is all kind of tied into this raising of consciousness.
And have you UFO late? I get the feeling, and I don't know if I'm right on this. Have you had your own experiences?
So I've seen a light in the sky, and so that was in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Now, this is not a real experience. I had an out of body experience. Now, this was, I would say, on a shamanic adventure I was taking, right? So I'll leave it that way. But it was so revealing. So I had on this, experience, I got synesthesia. So, right, that's the effect of smelling, like a cross of senses where you will smell a color. And so that's what happened to me. I had that. And then I had the sensation of my soul or my astral body kind of leaving myself. And then snapping right back into my body. And in that very moment, I was fascinated. I said, no way.
Yeah.
It felt too real. So real that that couldn't be simulated, and it sent me down. So yeah, I guess that was my experience, is this out of body experience I've had.
Yeah. There's a lot of solar activity, and that's going to increase as we go into 2025. Expect to see more solar magnetic storms hitting the Earth. They're going to get stronger. You're going to have storms that are so big that we've never seen them before in our human history. And it all has to do with the changes that are coming in our galaxy, in our solar system. It's not just affecting Earth. Well, we live here, so we think, oh, Earth is the only one being affected. Wow, we got some pretty good lightning going out here. And it's raining too. So, we have all this activity that's going to increase, which is going to affect everybody, okay? And it's not just affecting Earth, it's affecting the whole galaxy and solar system, all the solar systems, all the galaxies. So everyone's going to be affected as we go through these transformations. As we go through transformation on our planet Earth, as we go through transformation on our planet with these energies, we're going to also see, as we go into a high vibrational frequency and get towards contact, you're going to see more of these energetic storms from the sun. They're going to affect every single person in different ways. When someone's not tuned in spiritually or cosmically, they might be affected and feel kind of weird, out of sorts or whatever. If you're tuned in and you're taking in on the rays of the sun's energy on a spiritual level, it's going to amp up your cellular structure, your frequencies within your body. And meditation is key to that.
I'm always pretty fascinated with the moon, too. I think the moon has a lot to do with, obviously it controls the tides here on Earth, right? There's a lot of effect from that. But I wonder what role the moon plays.
Well, the moon is actually an intergalactic base station. I've said this for months, and even on my radio show. The moon is an artificial structure that was put there. It's actually internally, the moon is a intergalactic base station. When I'm saying base station, I mean that ships come and go from the moon all the time. It's an intergalactic base station.
So it's got like big doors, and I've seen...
Well, I don't know about big doors. There are entrances into the moon that will open up when spaceships go in, and when spaceships go out, you'll see astronomers that have videotaped and captured recordings of it's pretty wicked lightning I'm looking at here out the window. You'll see spaceships coming out of the moon, because there are doors that open, whatever they look like, probably a crater or something, and they come out and they go out into space. Because it's an intergalactic space station, there are ships coming from all over the universe to that space station, going, and they come and go. Well, someone's doing some wicked stuff.
That was pretty loud.
Yeah, that was somebody with a car doing something. I have no idea what they were doing.
I thought that was thunder.
No, that wasn't thunder. That was a car. It was weird. But it's like an intergalactic space station. That's what that is. And some of us know about it. I've known about it for a long time. So people say, well, the moon is real. It's a real intergalactic space station. It's not a real moon. It's an artificial structure.
Who's that guy that remote viewed the moon? Like the famous... Oh, Ingo Swann. Do you ever do remote viewing?
I don't do remote viewing myself. That's not my thing. I have interviewed people that do remote viewing on my show over the last year on here, but I myself don't do it. I do other things that for me are important, but I don't do any remote viewing now.
Yeah, well, he remote viewed the moon, and he definitely said there's activity up there. That's
Oh yeah, because
not us.
the reason why the activity is because internally in the moon, there's a lot going on because it's an artificial intergalactic space station. There's lots of people or beings inside that moon. In the moon itself, I mean. Are you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. Sorry.
Oh, I'm just watching this incredible lightning show coming out through the window as I'm talking to people here. It's pretty wicked. It's
Do
pretty
you have a
crazy.
radio show?
Yeah, I do a radio show. I've been on radio for 21 years. I do a show on NPR Pacifica Radio every Sunday morning called The Cosmic Eye, and it's a show dedicated to our space brothers and sisters of the Astral Command. And so I've done that for 21 years on the radio. And that's where I got the concept to take the idea of the radio show and come on TikTok and do an actual real show on spiritual UFO areas, because there was nothing on here. And I looked, and when I watched what was on here, I said, there's a void here. I have to get on here and fill it. And this show went viral pretty much as soon as after I started it.
Yeah, there's a pretty unique lack of it.
Yeah. Well, not here. This is really a center point for real information. My show, we only give people real information in terms of contact, and we've interviewed people that have been taken on spaceships, people that have been abducted, disclosure, and all these things happen here. We have people that are with NASA. One person with a friend of ours has a friend in NASA. He's disclosed information with us on the show. So we thank you, Michelle.
You know what
we
NASA stands for, right?
Right, but this person in NASA is a good person. There are people in NASA that want disclosure, and this person is with her friend who brought him in on the show last few nights, disclosed information, and he's working with us to give us information that's being covered up by NASA. So we have people on the inside that are on here will give us real information.
Can I tell the NASA joke? Never a straight answer. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go. See, you got me on that one. Never a straight answer, man. I'm just looking at this lightning. It's really incredible. Hey, UFO Lake Group, I want to thank you for being here. We got the lightning, the thunder. I love it. You can hear the lightning. Listen. Wow, that's pretty close. It's shaking the foundations of the house here.
So, I was listening to, you know who Gary McKinnon is? He's the guy that hacked NASA. You ever heard about that story?
Oh yeah. I know the whole story about him. He got in trouble with the government.
Now, you know what sent him on this mission was the testimony of them hiding these images in like Building 8 was this testimony of this lady from NASA. And that's who he was hacking them for years. And all I can think about is, you know, this whole orbiter lander thing, like they I don't understand why our government like has been covering up all these things about the moon. Like, are they at odds with this these ETs that are coming? Are the ETs upset that we've been shooting them down? Obviously, because I would be.
Okay, so here's the deal with that. The government has used technologies with reverse engineering from negative ETs. Our governments made an agreement with negative ETs years and years ago, back in the 1950s, late 50s, early 60s. They made a deal that if the ETs, the negative ETs, would give them reverse engineer technology, they would let them abduct human beings on the planet and other things. So they agreed upon that. They stayed with that agreement, and now that agreement's has fallen apart. And in terms of the positive beings, this positive space people, they never liked what we were doing in terms of the government doing this stuff with the negative ETs. Our governments made a decision to have they had a choice, you see, and I've been around a while, so they had a choice back then to work with the positive spiritual ETs. They chose not to. They chose the negative ETs who said, we'll give you your technology, you let us do what we want on your planet with abductions, and we'll give you even weapons that will that you can use in this reverse engineered technology. So they did. Hence the fact that our government has technologies that the ETs gave them, the negative ETs, to actually cause problems for our planet. So now that's being stopped. It's being stopped by the positive beings, which is the Ashtar Command, which I work with, which are 90%, 95% human, about 7 to 9 feet tall human beings. So, there's no anger by the positive ETs. The positive beings of light are here with love and harmony, and the life that they live on their planets, there is none of this stuff going on. So they've come here to assist Earth to stop all this stuff from happening. And that lightning is incredible. I'm just being sidetracked by looking out the window. But, there's just so much going on right now that most humans don't know about. There's the final stages of what is called, we call it sort of, for lack of a better word, an intergalactic battle going on. Our government's working with negativities, trying to fight the positive beings of light, and they're losing. They're going to lose. The positive people, the positive beings from all over the universe are here to help liberate our planet from what we've been going through. Yes, Tina, I work with the Ashtar Command. I am with the Ashtar Command, actually. So I do work with them. I am from the Ashtar Command. I'm here as a starseed in human form. I'm fully activated, motivated. My consciousness is completely both cosmic Christed consciousness with the command, and I also can operate in my human everyday life consciousness if I need to. And so to answer your question, UFO late, the negative ETs are being stopped. The government's going to be stopped from trying to stop the positive beings from coming here, because that's what the government's trying to do. The government doesn't want disclosure. The government wants to stop disclosure. How do they do it? They're going to use reverse engineer technology from the negative ETs and think they're going to stop contact from happening to the people of Earth. They're not going to stop contact from happening. They'll never stop it.
So I've heard this idea that this is from other people who, her name is Lala Bright. She's got a YouTube channel out there. She's another person who's in contact with, others out there. And she was saying that she was getting messages that someone, was coming back kind of in the similar time frame. I don't know if this was the Ashtar Command, but someone was coming back and they were very upset with whoever's in charge of our situation here, and that some of the toys that we have, right, I guess some of these reverse engineered technologies, first of all, they're going to be taking them back. They don't want us to have them, or that we were using them to abuse them. Have you heard this idea that, whoever is coming back is upset with who has been in charge?
No, I've never heard anything like that. But I'll tell you, irregardless of that comment, the Ashtar Command, which represents peaceful planetary systems of light, when we use the Earth word upset, they are not happy with what we've done to our planet. They're not happy in the current situation, what we have done, what powers that be have done, misused technology, poisoned our air, tested nuclear weapons in our oceans and on the surface of the planet, wars that we've created on the planet that were never supposed to happen. We've done so many things that are totally not to have happened and do not happen on other planetary systems of light that work in peace. So they're coming back because number one, it's time to have contact. Number two, everything's going to shift. There's not going to be any religions, any governments, any of the things that we know now. These are going to be shifted to a place where we're going to be part of an intergalactic spiritual world of light. It will take time because we gradually are going to be transformed from the way we are now to a much higher level of understanding. And it's going to take time, but we will, learn to let go of all these things that are 3D, and we're going to be living in a state of consciousness that is much higher. So there won't be any weapons of war. There's not going to be any war. There's not going to be pollution. All these things are going to totally end. And the transformation is going to be of one where we're going to all live in harmonious relationships with our space family, because we are also space people. If we were off planet and going somewhere else, we'd be considered space people traveling from Earth to point B, C, D, or E. Do you see what I mean? We are also intergalactic space beings, although we are called human beings or people that live on Earth. We as people are going to be going into a whole different way of living once contact happens.
Are we going to remember our past lives? You know what I mean? Like, is it going to be
you'll be
lifted?
able to. You'll be able to remember your past lives, but you won't be living them anymore. You're going to be living your galactic life, the life that you truly are. So, for example, if you were to remember that you were a starseed, when I say starseed, that you came from the stars, and when you eventually do wake up and remember that you came from planet XYZ out there somewhere in the multiverse, and you remember what that planet is, you'll remember that you do have a space body. Now, if you're not familiar with the term space body, what that means is in stasis, the term stasis, as I define stasis, is that we all have a space body. That space body is on a ship. We all have a space body. Now, if you don't think you have a space body, you do. You just don't remember yet. But when you get to your space body, you'll remember all the things you are, all the things you've ever been, and what you are doing. So when we go off planet, if we decide to stay in the human form, we will come back and do this. If we decide to go into our space body, we'll be activated on the ship. Our space body will wake up, we'll get out of the thing, and we'll be walking around as if we were never leaving our space body, coming to planet Earth. So everybody here has what they call, hey, Mahansuk, everybody here has a space body. So you have to get used to that term. You are living a human experience, and you are having that experience, but you also have a space body.
I just saw Mike Masters. It said Mike Masters liked the live, and all I can think is there's a famous UFO researcher named Dr. Michael Masters who
not the same person, but go ahead.
Are we sure it's not the same person? Maybe not.
It's not the same person.
Too bad. Because that Mike Masters is pretty cool. He's got the extra.
This one's pretty cool too.
Oh, right. Well, this one does he's the extra tempestrial thing where it's time travelers. So if time is are these Ashtar Command, are they genetically related to us? Are they completely light bodied, or do they have some kind of 3D body?
Well, let me explain. There's no 3D body. Ashtar Command does not live in a 3D body. We do live in a 3D body. They don't. So let me explain this. The Ashtar Command is a galactic grouping of many spiritual planetary worlds beyond Earth. Ashtar Command is just the naming of the galactic grouping that works together. It's like if you were to take a co-op, food co-op, and you had members of different parts of the co-op, they're all part of one co-op. There's no separate co-op, right? If you take the Ashtar Command, look at the United Nations. So, for example, your United Nations on Earth represents many different countries, small and large. The Ashtar Command represents many planetary systems of light that are not in the 3D world. They don't even exist in the 3D world. The planetary systems where they come from operate in a very, what I call, cosmic Christed frequency. Now, for the human mind, it might not understand what I'm talking about, but what I am talking about is real. It's a galactic cosmic Christed level of light. And all the planetary systems that are representing the Ashtar Command are basically human beings that have a very high spiritual frequency and also have very advanced technologies. And their planets are pristine. There's no pollution. There's no wars. There's no shopping centers. There's no gas stations. There's no money. They're not living in a 3D world. Completely different.
Yeah, I can feel the density stuff is definitely got me worried about this, going to the 5D. I'm not supposed to be worried about it.
Don't worry about anything. You know what? Your mind is worried about it. This is the one thing I teach in my workshops. Get out of your mind. I tell people, get out of your brain. Turn your brain off. Whoops. Well, that's interesting. He probably lost his battery power. Just thinking he lost his battery power. I'm thinking of a logical answer as to why he just disappeared off my screen. I don't think it was anything weird. UFO, late UFO, did you lose your battery power? I'm gonna think logically here. You probably lost the battery power. Is that okay? Here he is. It had to be something. You might have. Hey, what happened?
I don't know. It just dropped me out.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. You didn't touch anything on your phone, correct?
Not that I know of. Nope.
And you just completely disappeared off my screen
It looked
without you
like
doing
you
anything.
glitched out. It looked like you had a connection issue for a second. Then you came back and everything was good. And then all of a sudden I was gone.
And folks, my hands are here. I didn't touch anything. I didn't make him disappear. So when I tell people on my show, whoops, that was some incredible lightning just now. When I tell people on my show weird things do happen, that was in the weird strangeness area just now when he disappeared. You hear the lightning and the thunder? We're getting a pretty big storm here.
Do you have like electronic devices ever malfunction? Like, have you been around like a craft like up close ever before? I mean, I know you said you saw one in the cul-de-sac, but I know a lot of people who have these experiences, they're around devices that are electronic and they'll malfunction.
Okay. I never had that happen. I can tell you in the 1980s that I was at a club doing I did reggae music. I played albums when albums were the thing before there was any kind of internet or anything or cell phones. And I had I was getting out of the club. I was setting up, it was a blues club, but they had me hired to do reggae. I played roots reggae. I brought in reggae artists that are well known. I brought in Ika Mouse, who's a well known reggae artist. He's had many albums. And back then I brought him in to the club. And he was great. And I used to DJ. But the night I was setting up was like a weeknight, I believe. I went outside. It was a sparsely lit parking lot. There was a food chain called a Stop and Shop Market. And beyond the shopping center, it was all woods and a condo complex and a McDonald's across the street. And as I went out, I heard a voice say, "Look up." So I heard the voice in English say, "Look up." I look up and there's a big ship about 2 football fields in length above this condo. I'm watching the spaceship for 35 minutes with tubular bottoms. Again, I remember every detail of the ship. Tubular bottoms, 4 of them, 4 or 5 coming to a center point, all kinds of blinking lights on it, and it was going nuts. And then the next thing I see are 2 beams of light coming out of the ship. And they had, one was like orange and one was like a yellowish color, and they started doing this geometry in the sky. They were creating a geometry right above me. And they had me looking at this geometry. I was just like, well, I don't understand what they're telling me. They were kind of trying to show me something, and I still don't understand what it was. I saw this for a whole 35 minutes. I think we had cell phones then. I think, just a basic phone where you can call. I called the local Channel 8 ABC affiliate, and they told me it was a bunch of pilots' information. I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, you need to get outside and tear up your script. I'm standing here watching a spaceship that's 2 football fields long. You're going to tell me it's a formation of amateur pilots together doing a formation? I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I have had very close experiences with the spaceships, and that was the most memorable experience I had. I felt no negativity or nothing. It was just like I was being shown some geometry. Till this day, I still don't understand what they were telling me.
So is that like the download experience where you get all these like rapid images in your head? Have you ever had the download experience?
I get downloaded, not images, I get downloaded information by the Ashtar Command. The Ashtar Command, who I am part of, downloads the ability for me to heal people. So not just that, I can now, with the palm of my hand, the last few weeks, I've been given the ability to get rid of negative ETs if people have them. I'm able to get rid of them as well.
So like negative ET, when you say get rid of negative ETs, like possession kind of deal, or just like
negative? There's no possession with negative ETs. What they do is they have done implants with people. I'm able to help those people get rid of the implants. That's something new that Ashtar Command has gifted me. I can actually get rid of the implants.
What are these implants doing? Do we know?
No, it's really various. It's almost hard to answer that. I think some people that have had implants, they're using them as monitoring devices on the human being. Some are being used for other purposes. There's no real definitive answer to the implants except that they shouldn't ever have them, and it's against universal law. And simply all that matters is getting rid of the implants.
So I've heard of people getting these implants and they tell as they're being taken, "I don't want this," and they're told, "No, you agreed to it." And
and that's, well, they didn't agree to it because they were forced to get the implants. Like when people, I interviewed tons of people that have been abductees, they'll be taken on a lower vibrational ET ship, put on a table and implanted. then they didn't agree to it. They were forced to do it. It's a forced situation, basically. No one says, okay, please, abduct me and implant me. They use psychology in their consciousness to the human and say to the human, oh, you agreed to this. They didn't agree to it. They're taking advantage of the human being and implanting them against their will.
They even need our cooperation. I mean, it seems like they sometimes they need our cooperation, but then sometimes they don't.
No, they don't care about our cooperation. The negative ETs, their main purpose is to do what they're doing, and they've gone way beyond what they were agreed to allowed to be doing, and they're being stopped. When I get back to the idea about the abduction scenario of human beings, that is against universal law completely. And so now we are going after those negative ET groups that are on Earth, that are still here, some of them, and even off planet, and we're making sure their ships never come back to planet Earth, number one. They're being escorted all the way back to their home planetary systems, and they're just being getting rid of. They're not going to be allowed to do the abductions anymore.
Where's the most common, so for these implants, where are people having them?
The most common ones, and I actually went to a conference many years ago with two people, a Dr. Lear and one other person. They did.
Rest in peace, Roger.
They took the implants out. I met them personally. I did a TV show and I interviewed them. One of the people that took out implants said some of them were visual implants, like a monitoring screen. They put them near the eye, and I saw all the implants they took out. So they're very varied. It's hard to say what is what and what it is. The most important thing is, it matters not what the implant is or what it looks like. What's important is that they need to be stopped, and the ETs that were doing them needed to be stopped. So basically, abductions are stopping. It's been going on for just about 70 years. The abductions are a little less than 70 years, but again, they are being stopped. They are being found. The negative ETs, reptilians, and the Zeta Reticuli from the Zeta Reticuli system are being captured and being stopped and are being taken off planet.
Someone from the audience is asking, how is the power vibration ships happening?
The power, let me see here.
I don't know what that means.
Kelly K, I think I understand what you're saying. I might bring her up. But every ship operates in a vibrational frequency. It's not so much power, it's a vibrational frequency. So, for example, lower vibrational ET ships, they look like saucers, some of them. They have a very different energy about them. If you encounter one of the lower vibrational ET ships, you'll feel almost like sick or a negative energy, from what I've been hearing from people. If you experience the higher vibrational ships of light, you'll feel a very love energy. You'll feel vibrant. You'll feel a sense of peace, and you won't feel like, oh, there's something wrong here. So and it's all based on sensitivity of the human being. So let's say, for example, a person like you is in the woods somewhere, all of a sudden this ship appears, and you go up to it, and it stops there, and it's like monitoring you. It's right there hovering, and you're like in awe looking at it. You're going to do two things. If you feel like it's negative, you're going to get yourself out of there in 2 seconds. If you feel a love energy coming from it, you're going to stand there and have that experience. So it's only two things it can be. If the vibration of the ship is so important, we have a train coming by, but if the vibration of the ship is so important, if you have a positive experience, you'll feel a very sense of love and vibrational frequency of love. If it is a negative experience, if you have a encounter with a non-terrestrial spaceship, you'll feel that icky energy. You just get out of there. Just go away from it. Don't get hypnotized to it. Just leave. Simple as that. Not complicated. All right, UFO Late Group, I'm thanking you for being here, and I'm going to see if we can bring some other people up on the show.
Thank you.
All right, brother. I definitely pull you down here. I thank you for all your questions, and as we would say, let's see what's going on here. So if you want to be a guest on the show, we appreciate UFO Late, and you have a question, we'll bring you up here on the show to answer your questions. If you've never been on here before, this is Encounters. Thank you for the follow. Released, thank you. We appreciate your follows, your gifts, your support. This is the most popular late night spiritual UFO talk show on social media. Oh yeah, in Stockholm, of course. If one went to Google search Stockholm or Sweden, just like every other country, thank you. We appreciate you as well, Released. Every country in the world has had UFO sightings in the last 70 years. No country is left out of that. Some countries more than others, but Sweden or Stockholm, I would say so. Yes, Barbara Masiniak, she wrote books about the Palladians years ago. I'm very familiar with Barbara Masiniak. I think she was a channel, but I don't really too much listen to any of the channeled material. I tend to get my information direct from the command off planet telepathically. And we will take your questions. If you have enough people following you, you can come up and ask a question with me tonight, and we'll be happy to do it. Again, you have to be over 18, and no kids on the show, no smoking, no vaping, no cursing, no drinking, no drugs. And thank you, Eeyore. Thank you, Tahar. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you for the gift. And welcome, Dave, to Encounters. JMZ, welcome. Okay, welcome. Rue E. So welcome to our show, Encounters. This is the late night spiritual UFO talk show. We're on a little bit early time. We started roughly around 10. We're going to go to midnight, 2 hours live. Normally we're on at 11, but we're on here earlier tonight and having some wicked weather, thunder, lightning, rain, and all that stuff. And also check out my video on my main page, a new video from Grayland, Washington, which is on the coast of the Pacific Coast in the state of Washington. Just posted a new video that is amazing footage of 2 fleets of spaceships that was recorded by a woman in Grayland, state of Washington, end of July. Thank you for the follow. We appreciate that. Allison, good to meet you. Watching the #1 spiritual UFO talk show. And we appreciate people are finding us on TikTok. We're glad to have you with us. Andy, welcome. Kennedy, or Kenny, welcome, Kenny. And everybody out there. So who is here has had any experiences? Anybody here have any experiences? Any new people, especially the new people? How many of you are having visitations? We talk about contact. We talk about visitations. We're talking about how contact is going to happen in 2027. Polar R. Okay, Polar R. Polar R, we're going to bring you up here, and you'll be our next guest. Polar R, right on Encounters, the #1 spiritual UFO talk show. And I am CmdrAleon. Welcome. We're going to have Paula with us. Paula, good evening and welcome to the show.
You had asked me to come up like a couple weeks ago, and I just wasn't ready.
You weren't ready,
I don't know
tonight it looks like you're ready. Yes, tonight you're doing good. You're ready.
Finally ready. I kept the secret so long.
Yeah.
I'm 73.
73. That's great. And tell us about your experience.
Let's see. How can I start? When we lived in a house, it was like me and my sister was in the back room on the top floor, and my father had put this big fan. It's a fan that makes a lot of noise, but but all you have to do is crack windows through the whole house at that time, and it cools the whole house up. So that was in our back room too. And what happened was there was this bright light, and it came into my bedroom. My sister stayed asleep, and
Let's have weirdness happen here, folks. Nothing weird, please. Let us bring Polar back. Hopefully she's just having a technical thing going on here. I'm just going to say, logically, it's something technical. We hope it's just something technical, because there's something weird going on here. Paula, are you still with us? Paula, the commander is speaking with you. We hope everything's okay. What just happened here? Holy mackerel, man. Wait. What's going on here? All right, my screen is going weird. Hold on a second here. What the heck just happened? I can't even see myself. My screen is going crazy. All right. What is happening? Do people still see me? Okay. I don't know what's happening here, but my whole screen is weird. Let me try to do something here. Hold on a minute. My screen has gone completely weird on me. I don't know what happened here. Everybody is now different. I don't get it. But it looks zoomed in, yeah. I am so like, what's going on here? All right. All right. I'm just going to have to live with it. I only see half of my face. Can you see me at all? Now I'm back. Okay. Well, I can't see me. My face, my whole framework has gone really weird. I could start the live again, which I might have to do. I don't want to do this. I've never seen this happen to my screen. You see my whole face. Okay. I'm just going to go with it. I can see the comments have taken up half of my screen, and this thing is totally changed. Don't restart. Okay, I'll leave it alone. So if anyone's had any encounters, this is the strangest thing. I just had her up here, and all of a sudden she's on pause and she just disappears. I'm telling you, if it's going to happen, it happens on my show. At least I look the same. Paula's back. Where's Paula? Paula, where are you? What happened? We're going to bring her back. Is anyone else only seeing half of his face like I am? Oh, it's a glitch? Okay. I've never been glitched like this on my show before. I always have strange issues. You're right, miss. I should be getting used to the strange things. Everyone says they see a full face. Okay. Okay. Paula, if I can't see you, I don't see you. If anybody wishes to come up and share their stories with us about their encounters, visitations, please do. And as long as you can see my full face, that's happy. I would like to see my full face, but I can't see my full face. So I'm going to just go with it. Paul, your story was interesting, but I lost you. Where are you? Paula, say hello to me. I don't see her at all. Okay, she's coming back up. Maybe things will reset itself when I bring her back up. We'll see what happens now. Let's see what happens. It worked. Our screen got fixed by bringing Paula back up. That's really cool. Hey, Paula.
Hi.
Hey, Paula, what just happened here?
I went away.
How'd that happen?
I've been having trouble all day anyway.
Well, when you went away, I went into a half a face.
See?
Well, anyway, we'll get over the half a face thing. So I now can see you. I can see my face. So tell us your story. Let's continue. And hopefully no other strange things happen. Let's go.
All right. Where was I? Oh, so I had to be. It had to be. Let's see, 1951. I was born. Um, but it was in the 60s, I guess. I was like,
Yeah, we're talking about light coming in the window.
oh, okay, yeah. But I was asleep. But the light, I'm a light sleeper. The light came in, but it was really like real bright. We had two windows, but you had one in the front and then you got one on the side. It came through where the fan was, and
Right.
I got up to look out. My sister never woke up,
Mm-hmm.
and when I looked up, like by being on the second floor, all you had to do was just look up just a little bit. When I looked up, I saw the ship, and it was like catty corner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I remember seeing that. And I also remember when I looked to the side, I saw somebody, an alien.
Now you said, let me stop you there. So you saw an
Okay.
extraterrestrial when you looked to the side. You saw this
It
extraterrestrial.
was in the
Can you
corner.
can you say again?
It was in the corner next to the fan. It was
Right.
like the fan would
What
be
did it
straight. Huh?
what did it look like? What did the extraterrestrial being look like?
He was taller than me, but I mean, if I'm 10 or 9 or whatever,
Yeah.
he would be taller than me.
But did he
Um,
look human? Did he look like human like you?
no,
Okay. Can you describe what he looked like to our viewers?
I mean, it's been 70 years. I think, like thin, a different
Mm-hmm.
color,
Mm-hmm.
large eyes,
Okay.
and we just looked at each other. And then I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared. I've never been scared. And then I remember looking back out of the window, but when it was on the left side, but when I looked on the left side, it was gone. But the spaceship had a certain sound which I can still hear to this day.
Really?
Like, yeah, uh-huh. And as fast as it went, um, as fast as the with the alien or whoever, just that fast as it went was when the spaceship rose up again, and I could actually hear it was just a hum, and it just poof, everything
It,
poof.
it disappeared, right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
So
And
so do you feel that tall space being was taken back on the ship? It was there looking at you, and then it went back on the ship. Ship made a sound, and it was gone.
do I think they took me?
No, not took you. The being that was looking at you, the tall being with the big eyes, was
Yeah,
looking at you.
yeah,
When when the being disappeared, it went back. It probably went back on the ship, and
right.
then the ship made a sound and it disappeared. Correct? That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it was like as fast as a blink of an eye. And at that time, they didn't have anything about aliens or anything else. I never told nobody in my family because I just had a feeling they were going to think I was crazy at 9 or 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I
Right. I
never
got
was
you.
afraid. I wasn't afraid or nothing, but off and on, during all the years that I've been living, which is a long time, it always crossed my mind like, I wonder if somebody's going to come back.
Right.
Off and on, yeah. And nobody believes you. I have told I've told a couple people, they don't believe you. And
Well, you
I
know
don't like
what?
to go through that.
Well, you know what?
Nobody
30 years later, Paula, people do believe. 30 years before, if you go 30 years back, you're right. 30 years earlier, there was a lot of people naysayers. But now, shows like mine, which are one of the most popular spiritual UFO talk shows, I can tell you that there are more believers, and the non-believers are very much a minority now. So you might have a few people that you know that don't believe you, but don't let that diffuse you, because everybody in this audience believes your story, and that's
Yeah.
hundreds of people.
I just started telling my story. My family
Right.
still doesn't know, and my mother and father, of course, they passed away. I still have a
Yeah.
sister and brother, but I
Yeah.
just, I don't know. I just wasn't scared though.
Yeah. See, I'm glad you came out of the closet on my show to tell it. So now you're empowered. You can say, I told the story on the most popular UFO spiritual talk show in social media, and you have nothing to ever be ashamed of. You're empowered as a person.
Same way.
Yeah, no, you're that's a beautiful thing. I always find it a beautiful thing when people come forward on my show and share their thing. That's one more person saying, I don't care what people think. I'm going to share
Yeah,
my story. It happened. We know it happened. Our viewers know it happened. You know it happened. You were right there. So of
yeah,
course, why not? You know?
right. And I was saying, well, I don't understand as far as a family because I wouldn't
Right.
know. I don't
Well,
know what to
and
expect
the
as
thing
far
I'm
as.
getting about your encounter, which is very interesting. This being was tall and had big eyes. Do you want to say what color was the being? Do you remember the color?
I don't know. It could have been tannish. It could have been like grayish. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
I'm,
So
you know,
I'm thinking it's a Zeta Reticuli from the Zeta Reticuli system. There are many different types of Zeta. But the interesting thing with you is, as a kid, this thing was watching you. But I don't get that you were taken or abducted by anything. Were you ever taken?
I would know,
Do you
wouldn't I?
know? You would
Mm-mm.
know. You would have told me if you did.
Just
Now, I
standing
don't think
there
you
in
were
the
taken.
corner.
He was just watching you. That to me is interesting. I
Yeah,
don't think that specific group of ETs was looking to abduct you. Um, they were just watching you, and for whatever reason, then they left. You've never had the
yeah.
experience since then, correct?
No.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Well, I want to thank you. Jasmine Stardust says, me and my dad were abducted at the same time together.
Oh,
Same experience, even though we were separate. So this other person we're going to have on, they were abducted. Well, Paula, I want
right.
to thank you for sharing your story. Any final words you want to share with us on that?
No, I feel better. At least someone believes me.
Well,
I
you have
feel
a
much.
lot of people here who believe you. Our audience
Yeah,
100% believes you. So you have a
yeah.
lot of people here
When I was
that believe
growing
you.
up, you couldn't say
Yeah.
nothing like
See?
that. They really start
Well,
looking
now,
at you
yeah.
like you know you're crazy, right?
Well, in
That's
2024, times have changed and people do
yeah.
believe you. I
Okay,
want to thank
thank you.
Paula for being here. Paula, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
I feel
Paula, there you go. I feel better too that you came up here. Jasmine's going to be our next guest on Encounters. Jasmine, Jasmine, can you you need to set your setting to public. Jasmine, if you can set your setting to public, I can bring you up here. You might have to go out of your TikTok. Set Jasmine Stardust. I'd love to interview you. Can you set your setting to public, please? We'll have you on here on Encounters. Lavola, good to see you. Savage Life for a Brave. Let me see if can you request as friend. Yes. Go into the guest thing there on the guest request thing. Press yourself as a guest. There's the multi-guest option. Press the guest option, Jasmine. I'll put you on here. Go to the guest option. It's on your TikTok. And if you can't do that, just go to your settings and I will actually change. You have to change your setting on your TikTok. Go into settings, change it to public, and I can bring you on. So you might have to do that. I want to hear your story. Let me see if I can get Jasmine on here. Here we go. Ah, good.
Oh.
Hey, good evening,
Hey.
Jasmine.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can all hear you. All our viewers all over the world can hear you. You're on the #1 spiritual UFO talk show on social media with CmdrAleon. Tell us where you are and tell us about your abduction story.
Yeah, well, I'm in Cali now, but I'm telling a story. Like, my dad died in 2014, but when he was when we were living, we owned two different houses in Florida, and that's where the abduction occurred. It occurred in Gainesville, like in the,
Gainesville.
yeah, Gainesville, Florida.
And what year was that? Do you know?
Yeah, I was, like 14, so I'm 41 now, and it was, yeah, so to give you an idea. I'm pretty
Interesting.
good with math, but right now at the moment, I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
not
good.
in that
Good.
headspace. But
Good. So tell us about the story, how the abduction happened, and yeah, let's get into it.
my dad was always into like AM radio, like Art Bell, and watched a lot of like, I mean, I would fall asleep as a baby listening to that. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't really, um, it was common for us, right? And so we weren't, but at the same time, even though when it happened, it was pretty freaky. It kind of makes hair stand up on my arms, to be honest. But,
Hmm.
we were, we were driving down the dirt road to the second house. We had two houses at the time, one in town and one right outside of town on a dirt road, but still in Gainesville. And my dad stopped the car, and there was like a ball, a very small ball of neon green light.
Oh,
And
wow.
it just, yeah, it was off in the distance to the left hand side, like out his driver's side, probably about maybe 200 feet,
Hmm.
maybe 170 feet roughly.
Yeah. Hmm.
And it kept getting slowly bigger. And yeah, it just kept getting slowly bigger. And we were watching it, just like my dad had stopped the car, and it just, I don't even know how to really describe it. Almost like you're zooming in on a camera, really. It just had
It was.
full
It was. It
control
was.
of
It was.
like
It
being.
was. It was getting bigger. The object was getting larger as you watched it. Correct.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a bubble. It wasn't like if you were to blow bubbles, how it kind of like is um, flexible or whatever. Like it
Hmm.
was just, it
Yeah.
held its shape. It held its shape, like
Yeah.
people say, right? And
Yeah.
it just gradually got bigger, and it was bright, like neon green. Like it was so bright that you couldn't look at it. It was like intoxicatingly bright. It like burned your eyes. But it just kept getting bigger as a circle. And then that's when it kind of dropped down a little bit. Not really dropped down, but it just kind of, it turned into a human form. It
Really.
was reshaping into like, well, I say human form, but alien form, right? From
So let
the
me slow you
light
down.
itself.
So
So we saw it from the very beginning, from the light shifting
right.
and literally morphing into the alien itself.
So this orb actually
Yes.
turned into an extraterrestrial being. So the orb changed its form and to an ET. How tall was it? Can you describe what it looked like?
Yeah. No, it was a gray. It was a gray, and it was short, you know.
Hmm.
I mean, no more than 4 foot. I mean,
Yeah,
not.
that's typical. That's called the zeta. They're not really anything called grays. So they're actually zeta reticuli from the zeta reticuli system. Some of the zeta reticuli system are tall, some are short. But go ahead.
Yeah, it was short. And then, like, my dad, of course, just from the very beginning, even kind of saw it, and he like stopped the car, and then he looked over to the left, and I looked at him, and then we're both looking at this light, and I got kind of scared. I'm not gonna lie. Even growing up listening to Art Bell, I was like, we have to get out of here like now. Like I was trying to move my leg over to the gas pedal to try to start the car while we were sitting
Hmm.
there, and he goes, "No, like
Hmm.
I've been waiting my whole life to see something like this." And so,
Oh, wow.
yeah, he was just kind of like in this trance of like just I'm going to see it through, and I was like, "Well, okay." I mean, and then I kind of calmed down for a second because I was like, "Well, at least we're going together."
Right.
You know, we don't have to experience this alone.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
So when you had the abduction, when that happened, can you tell us about the abduction? How did you how were you abducted? Now you're seeing this thing on the road with your dad. You
Hmm.
had the
Well,
abduction.
it's
How
actually
did the
off
abduction
to the
happen?
left, off to the left in the forest, and that was another thing. Like it was surrounded by trees, um, and it just like the light just it wasn't translucent. It just it overpowered the trees. Like
Hmm.
it wasn't like looking in a mirror like a reflection. It like took its own, like it was its own. I can't even describe that part of it.
Right.
I can't explain why the light wasn't like semi see-through, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't
It's
know.
okay if you can't. But I'm interested now in going from the being in the vehicle, your
Right.
dad being
Oh,
so
sure. Sure.
I want to know how they abducted you. Did they take you out of the vehicle onto their ship? How did and where was the ship?
Well, there was just one. My dad called it a gray. I'm just going with that, but like he said, that is about 4 foot tall. And like, so the light was, like I said, it was started very small, got bigger. It probably got to the size of like probably 2 feet wide all the way around in a circular
Yeah.
form, and then shaped into the alien body. And then it started walking towards us, and then like the light was kind of, so he was glowing, but he was walking towards us, and he was
Yeah.
getting really close. Like it was like a direct line to us. Like he knew we
Wow.
were there,
Interesting.
and he just kept walking like towards us. And he got to the point where he was like 15 feet away, and I got really scared. I was like, yeah, I think that might have even been when I was like, come on, like, let's go like this. And he's like,
Yeah.
no, I've waited my whole life for something like this. And he was just in this trance. I couldn't break him out of it. Like he was just
Yeah.
like,
And you were with him, and you're his kid. So
yeah,
when the ET abducted you,
yes.
at the time when you were finally abducted, where were you in the situation when you were now you're abducted?
Well, at that point I started getting scared, and I'm sure that the being or whatever, like any other animal, sensed that I was scared. But then like right about then is when he lifted his arm up, his hand up, and yeah, I can't remember exactly if it was his right or his left hand, but I do know only one hand rose up, and it was like straight out in front of him, and his hand was exposed like flat. And that's when I got kind of scared. And then there is no memory of like the car being vacant or on the side of the road. Well, it was on our own private dirt road, so it's not like anybody would have noticed it.
Right.
But
You're on your own road. Yeah.
yeah, there's no memory of that, but then there's memory of being in the spaceship. So it went from directly his hand being probably at that point maybe 10 feet away from the car, and then there was a memory of the spaceship. Like it was just that. I mean, there's no memory of like, you know, like a lighter being floating up into the light or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's what you're asking. It just went like
So
from that to like his hand being raised up to us to boom, we're in
right.
this spaceship, and we're in two
So
different rooms, but we didn't know we were together at the time.
let's go into this. Let's go into this, folks.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is amazing. So you're both in two different rooms on the spaceship. Give us
Yes.
an understanding of what the rooms looked like inside the spaceship.
There were a lot of them, and I think, and there were a lot of doctors. Me and my dad, we both kind of grew up watching a lot of subtitle movies and stuff. So we're pretty like, we kind of have a very expansion in like languages and stuff like that. And so even when I was younger, I think I'm really into them now, even more so. But I don't watch like American films or anything like that. And the best way to describe it is there was like a room full of doctors or surgeons in their form, and they were all communicating to each other. And you could just tell by the tone only strictly what was coming next. And I just remember like resisting, being like, yeah, no, don't think so, not happening today. And I just remember being like, I remembered at one point trying to scream, but nothing was coming out. Like I
Really?
remembered like just screaming. Like I screamed when I knew that the head doctor, just by listening to the tone and the vibration of what was going on, was coming into the room. They were like, oh, well, he's the head honcho, so he'll make that decision or he'll make that call, kind of
Really?
thing. Yeah,
What
it
did
was
these
like he was the
these
overseer of all of them. Like he was the
what
overseer doctor of all of them.
yeah. What did these doctors look like? Can you tell us?
Well, they were all. I was strapped to the table. I mean, I strapped
No,
to
yeah, of course.
metal, I don't know, metal
A metal table, yeah.
yeah,
But what
on
did
the metal.
were the doctors Zeta or were they human?
I'm pretty sure Zeta. Yeah, no, they weren't human.
Zeta.
No, they,
They weren't
but
human. Okay.
you couldn't really, it was more like, you couldn't move your body. You couldn't move your body. You couldn't move your head. I would say like, paralyzed. You couldn't move your body or your head or anything. You were just,
Yeah.
all you could see is kind of straight up and some lights. And you could hear, but I could hear what was going on. I think the only sense I had available was my hearing, and my hearing was like, uh-oh, I know that when he comes in, this isn't going to be good. And so I remembered
Right.
starting to scream, but nothing was coming out. And then that's when I realized not only could I not scream, I couldn't move. I know for a fact that I couldn't move my head from side to side, but all I had was my hearing, and I had to go off that.
Wow.
Yeah,
And how long were you on the table? You and your dad on
just
separate
mineral
rooms,
water.
separate. How long were you both on separate tables? Do you remember?
Well, we were in separate rooms completely
Yeah.
without knowing it until after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we kind of, we, how do I say this? So, like I said, the car was at the beginning of the driveway on the dirt road, right? We woke up in the house, inside the house.
In the house.
And we
Yeah.
still till this day don't know how we got there, but we woke
I
up
kn-
inside of the house,
yeah.
probably a little bit further than a quarter of a mile, three-fourths of a mile down the road.
So let me jump in here. So folks were in a vehicle on a dirt road on their property. They were going to another house on the property. They get abducted by a Zeta. They're brought onto a spaceship in two separate rooms. Then when they're done with whatever they did to you with the abduction, you're both put
Operation.
in operating on you. You're put into your physical house that you were going to, correct?
Yeah, and there was it was. We woke up right next to each other too. We woke up next to each other, like there was a time lapse. We're not really sure how long. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
anywhere from 8 to 30 hours we were gone. I mean, honestly, we were just gone. And we woke up like sweating. We were both really hot. We were both sweating. We were it was almost like somebody had just placed us there like dolls, like right next to each other.
Right.
Like just like we were literally like leaning on each other's shoulder. Like that's how we
Oh,
woke
wow.
up. It was a
That's
trip.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And,
and
and
then
and your car was still out on the dirt road, correct?
at that point, we couldn't even speak. We just woke up, we were sweating, we couldn't even talk to each other. Like we would look at each other and look away. And we'd look at each other and look away. And we actually went through this process where we didn't talk to each other at all for like a good 2.5, 3 weeks. Like didn't say one
Mm-hmm.
word to each other. It was just silence. It was just, we didn't go there. We didn't talk about it until my dad started like opening up a little bit and was like, so
Mm-hmm.
like, are you ready to
So
talk about what happened? And so then
so so
yeah,
were you did they do you have implants in you? Were you
I always
implanted?
wondered, I don't know.
So let me ask you a question. I don't know if you were or weren't, but if they did, they had you on a table strapped. They honestly, I believe, implanted the both of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much you know about me, but I work with the Ashtar Command. The Ashtar Command, I'm a human being like you. I have a job, I work, I do everything, I have a family. But I don't come from here. I come from beyond Earth. I actually am from the planet Mars, which has 10 to 15 million inhabitants. I'm also with the Ashtar Command directly, and I am here on Earth. My space body is on a ship, but I am both human consciousness and galactic consciousness. And it might be a lot to take in what I'm saying right now, but as I'm listening to your story, if you were, as you had the abduction experience, I would like to help you. I can use my palm of my hand and I will be able to take out the implants.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can think about it, but I can take out the implants.
Oh, it's not much to think about. I mean, I have thought about like where they might put it, or
Oh, well,
I have a lot of medical
they'll
problems, so I'm like, oh, well, maybe they'll scan that part of my body and find it, but they haven't.
so right. So if you decide to let me do this, I'm not saying tonight, I would be happy to work with you, and we'll take out the implants that are inside of you from the ET, the Zeta doctors that did this to you.
Yeah, it was.
We'll actually destroy the implants. If we take them out, we'll destroy them.
Yeah.
No, I mean it. We will totally
No,
destroy
no,
the
I'm
implants.
listening. That's my way of just saying I'm listening. I'm not sure really.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I want you to think about it. I know it's a lot to take in, but I've gotten a lot from listening to your story, and I've been gifted only in the last 2 weeks the ability to do this. I can take out the implants and we'll destroy them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're a beautiful soul, and they shouldn't have done that to your father, nor should they have done that to you and strapped you on a table on their ship and implanted you, because they did do something.
Well, yeah, and I knew that. Well, when I was talking with my dad, like what we did is after 2.5 or 3 weeks too of like not talking to each other at all, we kind of did this silent treatment. It was the weirdest thing because we've always been super close, so we always talked about everything, and like the whole world was spinning around us, and we were like, we don't care. Like we were like in shock, I guess. And so after 2.5 or 3 weeks, we finally got to the point where we were going to talk about the abduction, but we went in baby steps because honestly, it was so intense. But also, we didn't, how should I say this in the nicest way possible? But it was like,
Oh,
it was kind of
no,
like a trust thing. Like we loved each other and we still trusted
right,
each other. It
right.
wasn't like that,
Yeah,
but it was like,
of course.
oh, well then what was the next step? Like then what did you experience? Okay, my turn. And we would take turns back and forth so that we had this solid understanding of each one's experience and put them side by side, and they were identical. It was like, yeah, I screamed too. I tried to scream too. And I was strapped to that table too. And once we realized that both experiences were the same, and the fact that we woke up and then there was this allotted time, this missing time, and we were like sweating, and like
Yeah,
it just
yeah,
it felt like, I mean, definitely, I don't
yeah.
know.
No, I totally am empathetic to what you went through. A lot of our audience is watching this and hearing your story about what happened to your specific abduction with you and your father. And I definitely, we're all appreciating your story. And I'm the last one to push you to do anything you don't want to do. But I can tell you, when you feel comfortable, if you do, don't be afraid, and it won't hurt. We'll take out the implants in the body. They implanted you both, and we'll take out
Yeah,
the implants, which I am now able to be activated. They activated me to do this just in the last 2, maybe 3 weeks from the spaceship of the Ashtar Command. I've been given the ability for now to do this.
yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. And so I think if we take out the implants at some point, you say, Commander, I'd like you to take out the implants. You'll have a beautiful experience with me on this live, and you'll feel nothing but love, and the energy that will be worked with you on your physical body will be locating the implants. We'll take them out. They won't hurt, and they will be destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, my father has since like passed away, but
I
like
know he has. Yeah. But you are still here. So you're the person that has implants still in your body.
said that like when you see a spaceship, or I mean, I don't know about abductions versus just seeing a saucer or UFO, right? Different, but he was always saying, well, they'll always come back. And so I think, I mean, I definitely feel like they did something with like our
Right.
DNA or something, but
Well, let's put it this way: if you don't want the spaceship, if you don't want the spaceships to come back, I can stop that too. Let me
no,
tell you
it's pretty.
something.
I think I had the full experience as it is. I'm
No, you
pretty
did. You did.
traumatized as it is. I think
That's what
I
I'm
don't think.
saying.
Yeah.
I can stop the Zeta from ever coming back again. I know you haven't seen them recently, but I can stop them from ever coming back again. I can absolutely stop them. The
Yeah.
Zeta. I have
Yeah.
the power to do that.
just that time for us, but it was just both of us. And so it's like,
Yeah.
it was kind of cool that it happened to both of us in that sense, because then we had somebody to talk to about it, and we had this different kind of understanding, and we were just mute for like 2.5 weeks, just kind of looking at it.
Wow.
It was, we couldn't even talk. We couldn't even form words really. I don't know if it was just we were in shock or like,
Yeah.
it was a trip. It was a trip.
Yeah. Well, you're amazing. And I just want to thank you for being here. Your whole story is amazing. I want you to meditate on what I have offered you. And there's no, you're not forced to do anything. I never do that to my viewers when they tell their stories. But I am here to help you if you decide after a few days of meditating on, say, maybe I should have the commander help me take the implants out. I will put a force field of light around your home, and you'll never, ever, ever have any lower vibrational ETs try to abduct you again. I guarantee it.
Yeah, definitely.
Jasmine, you've been a blessing. I thank you for being here. Your story is fascinating. I think our viewers loved your story, and you actually probably have helped a lot of other people that have also, they're watching this, that have been abducted, to that they can feel safe to come on here and share their stories. I really feel so thankful that you did, and I appreciate you very much.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Thanks for letting me share. I don't obviously
Yeah, I know.
share
Yeah,
this
no.
story ever. I saw you on the live, and I was just like, wow, this
Well,
is
I would
cool.
like to follow you, though you're just a private. I can't do it.
Oh,
Follow me,
yeah, you
and
can. I think you can. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I think
Let's see
so.
here. Am I able to follow you? Let me see here. Nope, you're set on private. That's why. You have to change your setting. But I would like to follow you. I'm usually on at 11 at night. I came on early tonight, but I'm usually
Okay.
on at 11 p.m. at night till usually about 11 to 1 for 2 hours. So I want to thank you, Jasmine, for being here, and we appreciate you very much.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, guys.
All right, we're going to bring Jasmine down off the spaceship of light, so to speak. That was Jasmine. Thank you, Jasmine. This is the kind of show we do here, folks. We are very, we like to listen to people's stories, whether they've been abducted, whether they're having direct contact with the star people and being taken off planet by the positive beings. We hear those stories too, right? We talk about disclosure. We get into all these things. That's why this show is number one in what we do. And if you're 352 people here, follow our show. Follow me. You're going to be watching a great talk show most nights at 11 o'clock. I might take a night or two off. Sometimes I need to regenerate as host. It takes a lot to do what I do here. Please show your support. Become a subscriber. Go to my Venmo account on my main page, on my main profile page. There's a Venmo link, which is a PayPal. PayPal is Venmo. PayPal owns Venmo. You can make a donation there. Any donations would be great. And Jared said, great story. I have tons of questions for her. Someone has implants and asks for assistance. Yeah, if someone has implants and asks for assistance, I will be happy to help them. If you are over 18 and no kids on the show, you have to be over 18, no kids on the show, no smoking, no vaping, no drinking, no drugs, none of that stuff, no paranormal discussion. John B. wants to share a story. We'll bring John B. up next at 11:40 p.m. on Encounters. We're going to bring John B. up on the show. You're watching Encounters, the late night number one spiritual talk show on social media. And our next guest is John B. on Encounters. John B., welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing, Commander?
We're doing good. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself for our audiences all over the world and your story?
Sure. Originally, I'm from California, but I'm living in Nevada right now.
Mm-hmm.
And been here almost a year. So, a little about myself. And what happened to me was what I think was what I used to call was a dream. And listening to your show, you confirmed that a lot of these encounters are made for you to believe that they're dreams, but they're really actual encounters, right?
Right, exactly correct.
Correct. So my encounter started we used to call a dream. Well, in this dream state or this experience, what happened was that I'm here with my dad. My dad's in the living room, and there's a big window that were looking through. And like this clouds, this fog, I don't know what you want to call it, or this veil kind of lifts. It lifts and clear night sky like you see in your background, and all these like crafts are there. Like they're just there. They were there all this time, but covering them was like this veil or clouds. But they had been there all this time. It was just they were, yeah. And after that, I remember going to my room or something like that. I got separated from my dad, and outside, a craft landed. Like it was literally like right outside the yard.
Mm-hmm.
I go outside and there's all these people, like a group of people, maybe like, I don't know, more than 30 people, including me, and we're all just standing there like, what the heck? You know, there's this craft there. All of a sudden, the craft just opens up. It opens up.
Wow.
Opens up and completely empty. Nothing inside, just empty.
Mm-hmm.
Craft was like driving itself, something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing in there. We're just standing there like, what the heck do we do? Do we get in? Kind of nervous, a little scared, but eventually we start just getting in. I get in, and it just goes. It takes us very short trip. I mean, we're talking, it seemed like a very short trip.
Mm-hmm.
We go to like, it was not here, another land, somewhere, another place. We all come inside like this, almost like this house. It's like a house, pretty much.
Huh.
Like just like a regular house like we live here, and we're all just looking around, but everything is like brighter. The colors are brighter. Yeah. Like the colors are like more brighter than what we're used to here. Like we're like, it's really like we're like in wow, just looking around, and they kind of give us permission to just go and walk around, look around, and everybody's just like, it's like almost like walking into a museum, and you're like, wow, you know, look at all these colors. Like there's pictures on the wall, like we have, you know, we put up pictures on the wall, like same thing with them.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that the intelligences that took you on the ship to where you were giving you an environment that was brighter, but something you can relate to? I mean, for example, you said it looked like a house.
Yeah.
So if they're advanced beings from another planet, they could make an environment for you that's similar to where you would have realized, let's say, if you're on planet Earth, correct?
It could be, because I never saw a house from the outside. I just knew I was inside, and it was like this. Just it's similar. It's similar to walking into a room and all these like pictures and everything so much more colorful.
Now, in this dream, when you were taken what I call a cosmic dream on this ship that was empty, and you all went on it to this other place, did you ever eventually have encounters with the space beings that did this?
Well, in the same experience, yes.
And I'm not. Yeah. So, can you explain? Now we're going to go to chapter 2. So, tell us what the space beings looked like that took you in the empty ship to this place that looked like a house. Can you tell us what they look like?
Yeah. Eventually, we go to like outside of this room. We're outside, and there's like a lot of people, and it seems kind of like military. It seems like kind of like when you're in school in recess, and there's like these teachers around, you know, and there's voices on the intercom. There's voices on the intercom, and they're kind of like telling people, line up, get in line, and there's somebody like, you know, talking to. I was there. There was other people there, and they're honestly.
And what did they look like? The ones that were in control of the situation.
Like people, they were, to me. I just remember them as looking like being like us, but more. They were in charge. Obviously, we're here in their place.
And what were they wearing? Do you know what they were wearing in terms of outfits?
I don't remember what they were. I don't remember that. I don't.
All right.
But
Were they shorter or taller? Someone's asking Scooby. Were they tall people or short people?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay.
There were just so many people around. It was almost like you're in recess and there's all these people around. But
Interesting.
And we line up, and one of my childhood friends is there also, and they're talking to the other people there. They're talking to him, and they're actually telling him, hey, when you come back to Earth, when you can go back home, we're giving you this role to do this and be this, and you're gonna be with this person who you know, and this person's gonna be with you, and you're gonna go back to where you came from. And they're pretty much giving you. Go ahead.
Were they like kind of giving like people a mission or an assignment to do when they came back to Earth?
Yes.
So these people were human like us.
Yes.
So you weren't. So I want to be very clear. In what I'm listening to, and if I'm hearing it right, they did not abduct any humans. They took everybody on this ship and were giving them mission things to do when they go back to Earth. Like a mission, like that. That's something that you are supposed to do. Like, for example, if you're supposed to come back and work for world peace, or make sure the forest isn't destroyed, or something, like they were giving people assignments, correct?
Correct. They were like assignments, but they were more like she's gonna be like your wife. She's gonna be like your sister, and you guys are and you guys are gonna go back and.
That's very different.
Yeah, somehow they're connected there already, but here they're connected differently.
Interesting. Well, your story is very different. I'm trying to analyze it in my head for a few days. I think this is a little bit different than the normal story, but like I said, a cosmic dream. When you have that kind of an experience, it's actually real experience. Now, if you're supposed to be these people that are human that are taken on the ship, are being aligned with other humans that they're supposed to have a relationship with, it could be for a lot of different reasons, which I don't necessarily know. But I'm thinking there's a lot of different things going here with these people. Very interesting story, John.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing it. Most definitely, okay?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, John. All right, thanks for coming up here. And I want to bring John down. You're watching Encounters. Everybody's stories are different. That's what I love about this show. Everybody's stories are different. Hey, Ruby. And let me see. We have another guest here, and I believe they're here. Savage Life 4. So Savage, we're going to bring Savage up here on the show. And this is Encounters, the #1 spiritual UFO talk show. We're doing a lot. We were bringing Savage up here, but something happened. As usual, if it's going to be cosmically weird, it's going to happen here on Encounters. We thought we were bringing them up here, but evidently they're not coming up here. So if you would like to be a guest on the show, you have to be over 18, no foul language, no drinking, no drugs, no smoking, no vaping, no paranormal discussion, and no kids. And we're going to try it again. I think Savage is going to try again to come up. Here he is. Let's see if the technology will work. Let's see what happens. TikTok can be weird sometimes. Hey, hello? Savage, good evening. Hello, how are you?
Pretty good, how are you?
Good. We had a little bit of a glitch. I don't know how you disappeared, but I'm glad you're back here.
I hit something and it switched me over to a different live, so.
Well, we're glad to have you here. And can you tell us where you're located and what your first name is?
My name is Mike, or Michael.
Okay. And where are you located, Mike?
Where do you mean?
Like what country, what state? Just in general.
I live in the U.S. I can tell you where I was.
Good.
For this, I can tell you where I lived.
Yeah.
Do you want the long version of this, or do you?
Well, the actual current version. Like I'm in Connecticut, you're in California, that kind of thing.
Okay, so I'm documented. So this happened in Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
Okay.
August 16th, 1999. And this happened with me and my father. And in the longer version, he already told me about this before any of this ever happened. He had stuff happening to him when he was a child, and then he told me it was going to come too. So August 16th, 1999, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. It was around 7:45, 8-ish. The event all occurred. It was over 45 minutes, but how it all played out, it was like a longer time. Mm-hmm. And there was many witnesses, but it started with me and my father. And how it started was we were driving. It was me, my father, his wife, his brother, and my baby sister. She was a baby at the time. I was 9 years old. Mm-hmm. And sorry if my voice is kind of rattly because I don't like talking about it too much.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. This show is everyone here will believe your story. We're in a whole different time space in 2024. It's not like 30 years ago when people were naysayers. That's why this show is so popular. People do believe. And it's okay to feel shaky, but you have a talk show host here who's been a contactee in the 60s. So I've had experiences. So go right ahead.
Okay. So my father notices a star in the sky. It's not a star. And that's what he notices. And he's like, hey, that's not a star. And he goes, what is that? And I'm 9 years old. I'm oblivious to it. I'm thinking of something else. And he pulls into the post office back parking lot. And he gets out. And then he's like, that's not a star. And then his brother gets out. And he walks over. And they're walked up. And I get out. And my stepmother and my baby sister stays in the vehicle. And I walk up. And they're bickering a little bit. And he's like, that's not a star. And I walk up and I'm like, that's a star, Dad. He goes, no, it's not. And his brother's already fed up with him a little bit. So he's walked back to the station wagon. And I'm like, that's a star. That's the North Star. He goes, no. And he points to the left of him. And he goes, that's the North Star. That's not a star, Michael. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go back to the car. And I'm walking back to the car. And he goes, look, it's moving. And I turn around. And this thing is moving slowly, and it's moving towards me. And he goes, I told you it's not a star. And then this is 1999, and he told me about like black op helicopters, how they can be over you wouldn't even know. They'd be quiet. That's right. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, maybe it's one of them helicopters that you're talking about. They're looking for somebody. He goes, no, that ain't no helicopter. It's really close. He goes, that's not a helicopter. He goes, get in. We're following it. And he goes down. He takes a right. And like within 20 yards, this thing just stops. And then he pulls into a Radio Shack. So Woonsocket, Rhode Island, it's like, I think like the 6th most populated state, but it's the smallest state. So
yeah. I know. I'm in Connecticut.
They stack up. Everybody's living in a building. And so the Radio Shack, the people that owned it lived above it. And we pulled into that parking lot. And this is around 8:05, 8:10. And this thing starts doing a couple things. But when we pulled in, the owners of the Radio Shack told us that we couldn't park there. And my dad pointed out what we were looking at. And they were in their nightgowns. They seen it, they come out into the parking lot, and they're watching it with us. But this thing goes, and if you can look at the tip of a pen and think of yourself writing in cursive, and you think about yourself writing in cursive, this thing that is in a star takes off, and in your peripheral view of where you're looking out in front of you over the horizon of the sky, starts writing in the sky with itself. And now this thing is changing color, and it starts off with red and blue.
Wow, interesting.
Oh yeah. This thing starts changing it, not only the color, but it's changing the style of pattern that is playing on this disc.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's got a vibrational pattern because its vibrational energy causes the color that you're watching when you're looking at it. Yeah.
Oh, it gets real crazy, man. So this thing, it's out of its star form. It's now in full different multiple colors, and it's writing in the sky. I got the writings. Not all of them. I got a lot of it. You know, I need to. I don't know. I think I can get like hypnotized or something where I can maybe get it
I bet.
taken out. But there's a lot of patterns that I remember, and so it's writing in the sky as fluent as you would writing your name with cursive.
Wow.
And a lot of times it would punctuate. So after it would write it's like almost like Greek lettering, it would punctuate and then start another writing where it punctuated at.
Really? So
yeah.
It was obviously there are beings on this spaceship. The beings were highly intelligent.
Oh yeah. So for one, this is all biblical. I would say this goes back biblically. Moses, if you look up anything to do with Moses, it goes probably even further back than that. But so from there,
the ship has the colors, the vibration. There's writing going on in skies.
No, this thing got over us. But I'm trying to go back to where I was.
Okay.
So after it's writing in the sky, it's changed from red, blue to green, yellow to pink, yellow to purple to gold. It was displaying silver. It displayed many patterns. And so this thing starts coming towards us, but very slowly. And I almost think it's the way it did it. It was very hypnotic on how it did it. But let me mind you on this. This happened in Woonsocket. There's tons of people that seen this. There was a group of kids this is 1999. They had some type of camcorder. I remember they were filming with some type of handheld camcorder with this thing. This video's never popped up. I've waited for it for so long.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. This involves 2 police officers. This made front page news of the Woonsocket call. It's documented.
Are those police officers? When you're watching Encounters, folks, the #1 spiritual UFO talk show, and we're talking to Savage. Are the police officers alive still?
Yes. And they're in the midst of retiring. They don't want to give out their names. As far as I know, the guy that spoke with my father is one of the leading guy from MUFON in Woonsocket, and he still doesn't want to give up the names.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The reason why it made front page news is the police officer had somebody pulled over in the time that we were watching this. And this is 1999. This is the city. He thought this guy threw some crack out the window, and he was coasting with his flashlight, and he ran into me and my dad looking at this ship, and he was wanting to know what we were doing. And we pointed up, and he stopped completely what he was doing. The person that he pulled over drove away, and where this happened at the police station was a block up the way. You could see the back side of the police station.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And when dispatch asked him what he was doing, he said he was looking at a UFO, and because he broadcasted it over the radio waves, that's public domain.
Yeah, he talked over the police radio, and he's telling dispatch, "I'm over here looking at a UFO."
Yeah, his sergeant come flying out the back of that police station.
Oh, man.
Running down the block, screaming at him, "You can't say that over the radio." He cussing. As soon as he cut corner and seen this ship, he stopped immediately what he was doing. The other police officer walked across the street. They stopped there and watched it for a good 10 minutes. And then the police officer stopped what he was doing. He was like, "I don't care. you ain't supposed to say anything like this. And he started walking back. The other police officer started walking back with him, forgot his police car. And then he got yelled at by this. I'm watching this, I'm 9 years old. I'm watching this whole thing play out. And,
Right.
you know, so he runs back, gets his police car, and he goes and pulls in. But anyways, so that's how it made front page news. I got the article.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a great story.
Yeah.
And it's good to hear. Go ahead. Continue.
Okay. So after after it flies and it's writing in the sky and whatnot, and it's changing color, it's slowly coming towards us, and it's changing many patterns. And it finally reaches directly over us, but before it lands on the ground, but above us, it like pendulum swings, like almost like a carnival ride, the swinging boat.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Going back, the swing boat. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But when it comes back, it slowly comes back, and it's directly over us. And
Really?
at one point, I'm telling you, it's. If you were on a ladder, you could reach up and probably touch this thing. That's how close.
Yeah, like a regular ladder. And it was really low. So the police officer sees it. The couple out that live above the Radio Shack see it. You're all seeing it.
Yeah.
And now I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
And I'm not saying this happened. Maybe it didn't happen at all.
Yeah.
Did you have any missing time? Was there anything like an encounter?
There's some missing time. Like I said, it felt longer, or I want to. It's hard to explain because there's so much that had happened in the short amount of time that it said it happened. Okay, right. You know that is documented that it said it happened. There's so much that happened.
So for the part of the thing for the viewership, this is Encounters. We're talking Savage from Rhode Island, and they're talking about a most interesting story that's been documented. So in the sighting of multiple witnesses of the sighting, was there missing time? How long was this sighting for?
On paper, it's 30 minutes, I think. 35 minutes.
Okay, so 30 minutes on paper.
It felt 45 minutes to almost an hour. But
you're hypnotized. You're all looking at it. I would be the same way. If I was standing in one socket, would you guys? I would have been hypnotized just looking at the object.
Okay, so the hypnotized part is what. Okay, so when this thing got directly over us, when it started doing colors, it slowly did the colors.
Really?
But when it got over us, the color pattern started speeding up, and when it was almost finally done, I mean, it was passing through so many symbols and colors patterns that you couldn't keep up with it. And finally, the final color pattern it did was every single color that you can think of was its own little speck on the bottom of it, like its own little speck of color, like almost like a star, but it's on the ship. And like the brightest. And here's the other thing. Here's something else I did. This thing was directly over us. So if you look up directly over you, it is so bright. It is the brightest of the color that you can imagine, the brightest of blues, the brightest of yellows.
Right.
But if you look down at your arm, think it's around 8:25, 8:30 at night, and this thing's directly over you, and it's casting a shadow over you. So it's not casting light like if you turned on a lamp. Right. It's not casting a light like where it's projecting light, but it is the brightest of light and color on this thing. And if you look down at your arm and you don't see any light beaming down on you. So if it was over you and you didn't notice it, you wouldn't notice it.
Wow.
Like directly over you. And it made no sound. There was no sound. There was no sound.
And the beautiful part of your story is you did have not only the police, which makes it even more credible. Yeah. Well, it would have been credible anyway. It doesn't matter. But the police saw it, and they were hypnotized by it. And then the other guy comes out of the station running and yelling and screaming, that's kind of funny. I just can imagine this small New England town like Woonsocket. I've been through it. Police officer running down the street. You're not supposed to come over the police radio and tell people you're seeing a UFO.
Yes,
I thought that part that's pretty funny though. Really, when you think about it, you know, it gets.
I got a whole bunch of loops to throw at you. So So after it did its whole color thing, it slowly goes like back off into the sky, but slowly, about I would say 150 yards from us into the sky, over the buildings just a little bit. And if you were able to take a quarter and like look at it, like look at the looking at heads of a coin in front of you, right? That's what this ship did. It literally lifted itself up where we could see directly the front of the top of the ship. And it you know, I can tell you how many windows was on this thing. They're all black.
So the ship had black windows, but you weren't able to see any of the space people. They didn't like come to the window.
I did. No, it's like
let's talk about let's talk about the space people. So what did you see?
So this is all factual. I'm in this moment, in this very moment, this is at that time was very factual. I'm gonna go because I have event where I've been amongst them. Okay, but that all started.
Well, we're going to get into that, man, because I know I just saw this wicked lightning. I'm in New England, in Connecticut, and I'm in central Connecticut. I just saw I'm looking out the window. We've been having lightning all night here, but go ahead.
Okay, so I kind of know where you're around. I grew up in Fall River, Mass, Providence, Rhode Island, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. You know, so right around that area.
Yeah. So let's continue with the chapters of your story because it's really amazing.
So this thing flips up like if you were looking at a coin and you're holding it directly in front of you. And I'm looking at the center of this thing because it's a half sphere on the center of the disc. And so I'm looking at this almost like if that was the Jetsons but it was way too big. So my dad's like, look, they're coming to the window. And I'm looking, and I'm not looking at these windows like they're windows. I thought they were like some type of vent. And he's like, not that. And he points to the very bottom one. And as he points to the very bottom one, I'm seeing a life form kind of like bobbling up to the window. And then there's two more that's kind of like looking over the shoulder. And there was a good, I would say 5 minute to 8 minute pause of me looking at this ship. I know exactly what this ship looks like. In matter of fact, it's not a picture I took, but there is a picture of this ship already out there. And they really try to, if you try to Google this ship, it used to pop up a lot, and now it's zoned into about 3 pictures.
Oh, really?
But, oh yeah. And I've tried to talk to some higher elites because for a while I didn't like to talk about it up until I heard, some people talk about it on a podcast, and I'm like, oh really? People are really interested in this because anybody I talk to, I'm in Amish country, so anybody I talk to, oh yeah, little green men, and you don't want to hear that too much.
So I know our audience would like to hear more about the space beings. Tell us who they are. How did that contact happen?
So, not the night of, but the following night, I end up. Before I get into that, let me just tell you the end of how this all went out. So
go ahead.
Okay, so this thing, after it's in its standing point, from its standing point immediately back to a star and back to the size of, a lot smaller than what I was looking at, a lot smaller. And so I'm like, how, for the longest time, I did not understand how this ship went from big to small. And it's actually camouflaging. So that star is the center. It's that half sphere. It's the, when I look at it almost like the 3 wise men when they speak about following the star. This is what they're talking about. But it's very camouflaging. And so it goes, and it goes out further in the distance, and it stays at a standing point, and all of a sudden less than a blink of an eye, it disappears, and we could not
Wow.
find it for a good 5 seconds. And we look out to our left or behind us where the sun was almost completely down. You just seen a little bit of light cascading, and then my dad found it, and it's swirling over whatever a passenger jet was in 1999, and it's going around it. Well, this passenger jet goes into the clouds, and you see the blinking light disappear in the clouds. Well, this thing goes
Wow.
into the clouds after it, and opposite of when it's in its color form, that star light that it has, when it goes into
Right.
the cloud, it literally lit that cloud up like it was a lampshade.
Really?
Light.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Unbelievable,
very,
you
very,
know?
very bright. And so that was the end of that, right?
Okay.
And there's some other stuff that happened, but I'm just cutting that part short because you want to know.
Right. We want to jump right into how you
Okay.
got contacted.
Now, before I go further into this happened August 16th, 1999. Remember that date.
Mhm.
So, not that night, but the following night, I wake up to not being in my room, and I couldn't tell you how I went to sleep.
Mhm.
I couldn't tell you if I passed out on the couch and my dad put me in the bed, or I went to bed and I passed out.
Right.
But I wake up, I'm not in my room. I'm actually talking with one. I'm not talking verbally, it's telepathically. And he's basically showing me around.
When you say let me be very, very specific on encounters. And it's great to see all 462 of you finding our show here. This is a talk show, so welcome. Stay here. You're hearing some this is a UFO talk show for people that are curious, or you hear. This is a show usually on at 11 o'clock at night regularly, and you're watching the most popular UFO spiritual talk show on social media. So welcome everybody there, all 463 of you. So, so the being, can you tell us what they looked like, what they were wearing? Give us a little bit of a description.
They wasn't wearing anything at the same time. Neither was I at the time. I didn't know it. And now let me put this, I'm going to put this out there too, because for the longest time, I've only been able to sit in my own thoughts, and I continuously obsess over it in my own way. But I'm just, before I go into this, I just want to put this out there. Adam and Eve, okay, because when I'm spiritual, and I believe when I read a Bible, I don't read it in a religious text, but my belief and my faith is there, okay. But I also, because I've witnessed this, I have to dissect the Bible in a scientific way, and I find my spirituality in that, and like that. So, and a lot of prophets like Ezekiel talk about this, okay? But in the text of Adam and Eve, their nakedness occurs to them when they've eaten from the tree of wisdom, okay? And they know of their nakedness afterwards. Before that, they did not know of their nakedness. In the same sense, when I was amongst them, I did not know of my nakedness. Okay, so it wasn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the space being, you said, didn't have any clothes on. Now I've heard stories that they're the ones that I deal with, the Astro Command people, my family off planet, which I physically have, and that's a whole nother story. They wear clothing. They wear spacesuits. They wear clothing. This particular being wears no clothing. What did it look like?
So I'm 9, and it's shorter than me, and I'm 6 foot. I'm 6'1" now, so I'm a bigger 9. So I would say
it's shorter than you. But what did like if you had to tell our viewers what it looked like? Did it have big eyes, small eyes? Did it have hair on its head? like that kind of thing.
No, here it's almost like your typical gray, but they're small. They're
they're Zeta.
3 foot.
It's a Zeta
3 foot,
Reticuli,
4
yeah.
foot.
Yeah, it's a Zeta. It's one of the Zeta.
But okay, but listen, there's more. There's their leader, and I would say that, and I wouldn't even say their leader. I would say like it's ours. It's our creator almost. And so I'm going to tell you, this one was I felt a female essence from. Not only that, but it had like I would almost say like cable, like dreadlocks protruding from its
it was a woman, correct? A female?
But okay, so I was speaking telepathically with this thing, and it was asking me a lot of questions. Before I go to her, I was being introduced. I was being introduced. When it was showing me around, it was showing me to this room, and this room was bigger than what you would think the ship could hold. So I'm almost thinking like they had capabilities of making a space bigger. The room itself was bigger than what the ship, okay? But it had like almost like an Olympic size pool in this room. And it was full of liquid gold. Liquid gold. Yeah, dude. Yeah, like, and it I'm telling you, it was, and so let me. Okay, so anyways, I'm being introduced, and I was told to be precise, be specific. I'm introduced, and I'm speaking with her, and she's asking me questions, and it's all telepathically, except a few times.
They are telepathic, yes.
I get she goes into a box, like a different, like, not, it's the same room, but it's like her elevated, like her spot, and it's almost like a giant's hand picked me up, but there's nothing there. And I get put on top of this platform over this Olympic pool, and I'm asked to jump in. And
when they say jump in, and you're watching Encounters here, folks who are just tuning in, stay here. This is actually a talk show. Number one popular UFO spiritual talk show. I'm your host, CmdrAleon of WESU's NPR Radio. So as you are told to jump in, you're jumping into what, for people that don't know what you're jumping into?
This liquid gold.
So you're jumping into a liquid gold. This is amazing.
Yeah, I would, and before I go into that, liquid gold, you'll find if you look into the Greek text, there's something called ichor, and the Egyptians, I've found mummies that have had gold put on their face, not their mask, but like painted gold onto their face, and it's biblically there's golden oils that is mentioned in the Bible.
Yeah. And just so you know, we have like 10 minutes left in the show. We'll be back tomorrow.
Okay. Let me speed up.
But I want you to continue. Go ahead.
Okay, so I jump off, or I don't jump off. I'm asked to jump, and this is liquid gold that I'm thinking to myself as a 9-year-old, I'm like, if that's gold, it's hot. And if I'm jumping off, I'm going to be burnt. So I'm trying to decline. I'm trying to get down. I'm actually scooting through like a good 12 to 16 little ones. They're up there. And there's one that's like kind of rude. He's kind of pushy. And he's like, we ain't got all day. But he ain't speaking to me verbally. It's telepathically.
Yeah, they're all telepathic.
I try to scoot through them. And I immediately feel like this grab over me, and it grabs me and picks me up, brings me right back down to her. And I know it's her. And this is when she is speaking to me in my ear, and this is when she's actually using her voice, and she's speaking in a whisper. And
what did she say to you?
she asked me why I didn't jump. I told her that I was scared, but I didn't want to lie to her. And she goes, watch. And then the one that was rude to me, he jumped off. And when he jumped off, he did like a little trick. And then right before he hit the gold, he like surfed across it. And as he was going by, it splashed onto my chest. And
really?
Then and then I grabbed my chest, and she goes, see, it doesn't hurt. And then she goes, have some. And then I go over to the wall and I reach in, and the wall is up to like, when I'm reaching in, my arms are only able to reach in. Like the wall is up to my armpits.
Right.
And I'm reaching in with my hands, and I just got 2 handfuls. And then she goes, have more. And like, almost in a sense, almost like being baptized.
Right. It's almost like
she leans me back. The one that jumped off comes like gliding over, and he pours the gold to her hands like telepathically. And then they pour it onto my face and into my eyes.
So the space beings were doing that to you. Did they tell you why they did? I've never heard of space beings doing this. So this is a fascinating situation, and we need to get into more of this tomorrow night. So tell us a little bit more. We'll have you back on. I promise we can continue with this during one of my shows tomorrow night or Tuesday. But can you tell us, when they put the gold physically on your face, on your eyes, how did you feel?
That's actually my wake up point. So from there, I don't remember nothing. So it was the last of when they poured it in onto my face and onto my eyes. I wake up into my room. I'm standing at my door. I'm not in my bed. I'm standing at the front of my door. And so the last thing I hear behind me is to tell everyone. And I said, okay. And I go running looking for my dad, and my stepmother is making breakfast. And I'm like, where's dad? And she's like, he's doing the interview. And I'm like, what interview? He goes, that ship that we seen the other night. And then I'm immediately upset, and I'm thinking, now I can't tell this story. I already missed out. And then I go sit down, and I'm sitting at the table. I'm eating my breakfast. This is my stepmom. I'm 9. I'm naked, not realizing I'm naked. And I'm like halfway through my breakfast, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, I'm naked. And I'm realizing now I'm naked. And I immediately take off to my room and put all my clothes on. But it was almost like wearing off almost.
Right. Now, the stuff that was on your body, when you came back to your physical home, the gold that was splashed on you, did it disappear, or did it integrate into your body?
It's integrated into my body. So now here's one other thing. I heard you say something about being on Mars or being from Mars or whatnot.
I came from Mars,
So I don't know. The way I look at this, for the longest time, I've always looked at it like this is one of my oldest memories. It's something I've come into this world with. But at this point, it's either it's something that I've come into this world with, or when I left from this experience, they implanted this memory into me where I look at it as like this is a memory from my beginning, before my beginning. But as far as I know, when I was born, this is my first memory, and it was for me being somebody else from a different time, maybe even a different place. But I was an older gentleman, and I was amongst 2 people, and we were in a black room, and we're all speaking. And at the end of all of this, I go over to the wall, and somebody opens up the wall like if it's a shade to the window. And the wall opens up, and I look through, and there's thousands of people walking up a obelisk that is pushed over and the obelisk, at the end of the obelisk, they're walking through a portal. And
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'll have to continue the story because it's now about almost 12:30.
Yeah.
And I love the story. I just I've been on since like 10 something. Definitely we'll definitely have you back on, man. I thought was it 9 o'clock? I got on here before 10 or something. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah.
But
I just came across you. I've just now followed you, but I heard you talk. I figure I'd blow everybody's mind.
Yeah, no,
now,
it's good to blow people's mind on this show, man. I'll tell you. I'm following you too.
Okay, so now, hey, here's something. I don't typically want to give it out, but this is why I don't want to. So, anyways, this happened August 16th, 1999. Okay. So, August 16th, 2023, my daughter was born. And same day. And
interesting.
Not only that, but August 15th, 2023 was my 12,666th day on this planet. And she started a new leaf. But
interesting, brother. So, and I want to continue more. We're going to have you back on. And I know everybody, over 400 people here want to hear more. I do, but I also need to take some time to go to sleep. This way I can regenerate, because I do a lot of interviews. I do a lot of energy work with people, and I love everybody here, including you as a new brother of the show and a new, that you came across us. Now you're going to be addicted to this show. You're going to hear so many different stories, and you'll realize you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there coming forward now because it's time. It's time to speak up. I tell people, come out of the closet. As host of the show, the only people I take out are the trolls and the people that are being ridiculous. But other than that, our audience is pretty good. We have some good moderators, and I thank you for being here. This has been great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad I figured out how to get on.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
I'm trying to get up to. I tried to go live before. I don't have enough followers to go live, but I'm glad I come across your this channel, because now I'll be able to like-minded people too. So.
And there's a lot of good people on here that talk about the subject. But I actually am a professional talk show host, so I'm on radio on WESU-FM Pacifica NPR Radio Sunday mornings for 21 years. I'm a contactee. I worked the Ashtar Command, my father, my mother, my two sisters and brother on a spaceship. But that's a whole nother story. But we'll have you back on, and I want to thank you. Everyone, thank him for being on here, coming out of the closet, sharing his story with us. We appreciate it very much.
Hey, thank you. Hey, have a good night.
Absolutely. You too, Savage. Let me take him down. So folks, the commander, believe it or not, has to get some sleep too. And this is a good time for me to end the show at 12:30. I want to thank everyone for being here. Please show support for the show. If you're not following me, we have 410 people. Please follow me right now. I'm on public, so you can follow me. Everybody follow me. Also, if you haven't gifted me, I want to thank all the people that have been gifting me through the show. Thank you. If I hadn't said that yet, I know who you are. If you haven't gifted me, go to my Venmo account. If you want to support us, you can do a donation. The PayPal Venmo is on my main page, so you can just press the link on the Venmo, and you can donate anything you wish. Paula, please explain. Paula, what night? Paula, what's your question? Before we go, we're going to be back on tomorrow night at 11, so we'll hold. And if you have a story, Brianna, thank you. Tar. If people, I know there's a lot of people with stories here, and I'll hold you off till tomorrow night or Tuesday. We thank you so much, Tar. We'll have you on the show, and thank you, One Toyota, for the heart. Join my team. I appreciate the gift. Thank you. Let me take a look here. Paula, let's see what you're saying. Paula. And Paula, we'll bring, I know you had an experience you wanted to talk about. Paula, we'll bring you on tomorrow night as well on Encounters. We'll be on at 11, maybe a little bit earlier, not sure. I want to thank everyone for watching the show. Everybody have a blessed night. Have a good Monday. We're getting a little bit of thunder and lightning, which is pretty cool. They told me something. So Paula, come. I'm going to follow you, Paula. Let's see here. I'm following you, Paula. Follow me, and we'll have you on tomorrow night, Monday night at around after 11. When I go on, we'll have you on, Johnny. I appreciate everybody here. Everybody, I can't bring it up now. It's really, I need to get some sleep. We're gonna, so when you're doing what I do, you need to have time to get some hours of sleep. It's nighttime on the East Coast, and it's now 12:32. So we'll see you all tomorrow night. Everybody take care. Have a good night and be well. You've been watching Encounters, the #1 spiritual UFO talk show, busting the Matrix. Loretta, thank you for the gift. And go to my Venmo account. If you haven't been there, it's on my link here on my main page. Go there now and make a donation of $5 or $10 or whatever you feel you want to make. That would be very helpful. Thanks so much.